Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to that. uh, yeah. Hang on. I'm actually having trouble. There we go. 1988. That's the one. Did it not update? Hang on one second. Yeah, we're just using the fan patch, the one by Neo Demi Force from like yeah, 98. That's right. Come on, update. There we go. Thank you very much, Wolverine. As always, if you give me a moment, I'll jot this down. Terraria, Impossible Features, and Lego City Undercover. Before we get started, I want to say thank yous and shout outs to people who made this run happen, including, but not limited to, Two Minuets, Captain Vice, Cody underscore DW12, Command & Conquer 2, Corgoth 88, Croatia, DeCastus, Darch Monster, Dark Day 95, Deckfish, Direct D, Doom David, Dream Whisperer, DZ Maven, Equalitas, Javan, Eternus 88, Darkrai 69, Warp Core, Walker, person to put this game on the list, which is 040I2, and our majority stakeholders, Dawn and Vigilant. Thank you, all of you, for helping to make this happen. This is a trip. Hang on, someone killed the bot. There we go. Here we go. So let's talk Final Fantasy II. So I've discussed a lot of the behind the scenes of this before, but we've never properly reviewed this particular game, and indeed, there's a good freaking reason for that. So let me go ahead and answer the most obvious question, the one everyone's probably asking immediately, and indeed, two people in chat have already asked. And that question is, why? It's actually a very simple question. It is a, admittedly, personal curiosity of what really is the worst Final Fantasy game. Because we've already covered FF1 on the NES, and we've already covered FF13. And frankly, I actually think there's only two other possibilities that might qualify. One of which is this exact version of the game, FF2 on the NES, and the other is the DS version of Final Fantasy III. You know what that means. Thank you for the sub, Vancity. I will put that towards dealer's choice. Much appreciated. I should mention, I have beaten this game before. I was actually really proud of that for a long time in my life, that I beat FF2 on the NES without any form of cheating. Once upon a time, Final Fantasy I came out, and was actually a surprisingly smooth production given how hilariously buggy and broken that game is, and all the many, many issues it was. It was a very ambitious game, though, and that caught a lot of people's attention. I know I say many times that, you know, such and such for the time is not really a defense of a game's quality, but it is worth noting that it does tend to lead to game sales, and FF1 was certainly impressive for the time. So, FF1 got a lot of people's attention and interest, and everyone was engaged enough that they absolutely wanted to, you know, not only port that over to the States, but also release another one immediately. The funny thing is, you're probably wondering, why didn't we get it over here? And the idea is, the answer is banal in how simple it is. Because before Chrono Cross and Xenogears, which was the PS1 era, for those of you not aware, late 90s, Square's localization team was, and I'm going to put this as absolutely nicely as I can, utter garbage. And so most of their games, due to a combination of internal biases, literal racism, and just awful production processes, would take forever to actually be released anywhere outside of Japan, and in some cases wouldn't be, and the quality was usually not great. Yeah. So This game, they were actually localizing FF2 to come out in the States. Some of you probably heard of this. It's called Dark Shadow over Palakia, aka the title they would eventually call Palamecia. And Dark Shadow over Palakia, I love that title, was almost completely finished. In fact, a copy of it was released semi-recently sometime, the last 15 years. I forget when, don't ask me. Because they got pretty far in. The problem was, it took them so goddamn long to do that they'd already finished development on FF4 by the time they were getting ready to release that. And everyone involved was like, why don't we just finish localizing 4 and release that instead? So they did. And we got FF4 instead. Ooh. This is the second of 3 games, second of 4, excuse me, programmed by Nasir Gebelli. Nasir Gebelli is a fascinating individual because, while it's hard... How do I put this in words? You know how if you look back and see someone who was like a programmer or a writer or a filmmaker or whatever for old stuff, they're not as good, but for the time and the limitations they were working for, they were freaking wizards. You know the concept I'm talking about, right? Like, some older directors are considered absolutely phenomenal, even though they're not technically that good of directors, just because of the insane limitations that they were working with at the time. Same thing with Nasir Gebelli, who performed, let's be clear, wizardry with the NES. For those of you who have never heard me talk about the program of the NES, first of all, it used a variant on assembly, and I say a variant on it because no 2 NES games actually used the exact same version of assembly, which is already insane. Second of all, it's assembly, if you know anything about that, end statement. And the third thing, though, and this is my personal favorite anecdote, the NES did not have the ability to multiply. In case you don't understand what that means, if I want to do any kind of formula at any point, anywhere in an NES game, I cannot use a multiple. The only way I could do that is, let's say I have a 4 and I want to multiply it by a value. What I can do is I can take that value and then add it to it however many times I want to multiply it by. And because of how the NES works, each one of those takes up its own address, because each of those is a separate calculation. Yeah, no, Fire Emblem 1 was a victim of this. Several Mario games were a victim of this because of the way they did platforming and speed calculation. It was a very huge problem for doing these kind of games, and it's why most NES RPGs, all 10 of them, they're not many, all have some issues. So I'm just telling all this to give an idea of how impressive it was that Nasir Gebelli was able to make RPGs on the damn thing at all, because he was the primary programmer for FF1, 2, and 3. And Secret of Mana, if you're wondering. Dude was a wizard. In fact, just to further emphasize this man, he was a veteran even before he started working on FF1. He was a big programmer back in the day on much, much older consoles. And, yeah, no kidding, close up. And he was considered, all his work was considered a direct inspiration for Jordan Mechner. He's the guy behind Karateka and Prince of Persia. Richard Garriott, that's the ultimate dude. And John Romero, who you've probably heard of because of Doom. In fact, John Romero has, there's a wonderful interview, if you ever managed to get a hold of it. It's from 1998. And Romero was actually able to do an interview of Gebelli and was just like fangasming all over him because he was so impressed by the stuff that Gebelli was able to do with the limitations of the time. So this is like grandfather pedigree here, right? Anyways, I wanted to mention all that because he was so critical to these games existing that it is very likely that FF1, 2, and 3 would not exist without this one person. I don't want to overemphasize, but what they wanted to do on the NES was unfeasible. Yeah, no, exactly, Pillars of Snow. Like, if you ever look at Dragon Quest 1, pause. I like Dragon Quest 1, but really look at Dragon Quest 1 for a second, because it is so much simpler, especially from a programming perspective. It is very flat, very simple. There are very few levels. Those levels contain very static stat-ups and very static abilities, the gains that they give you. Most of the enemy calculations are very basic. Enemy formations consist of one enemy, and you have a party of one. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff that doesn't have to happen. It is an extraordinarily simple game, somewhat to its benefit, but point remaining. Yeah, no kidding, to the Joker. But yeah, no, exactly. The NES arguably couldn't do RPGs, and these were the exceptions. Anyways, so to further emphasize this, man, one last thing, I swear, then I'll move on. At one point in time, by sheer coincidence, his work visa expired. And they were like, what do we do? What do we do? So naturally, rather than try to deal with the work visas of the United States, that is to say, let me be more clear, the work visas of Japan, which is the actual... By the way, he is not Japanese, he's Iranian, excuse me. They just moved the development of FF2 on the NES to California and just worked there. Because it was the only way the game was getting made. Remember, this is the 80s. There's no, like, remote work feasible here. FF2 was also another first for Square, while we're on the subject. Obviously, everything I just talked about applies to FF1 and, of course, 3 as well. But 2 was their very, very first time they wanted to do something story-focused. Square's always been really big on graphics and spectacle and being way over-ambitious for their britches. But this was the first time the story team, which at this point consisted primarily of Kenji Terada, and of course Sakaguchi himself, were like, let's do a frickin' story. Let's do a tale. And I've talked before about some inspirations for this, Mother, etc., Dragon Quest, but they wanted to do a story-focused game, which is funny considering how little story there's in this game. Getting ahead of myself. So they actually wrote out the scenario before they ever even sat down and started programming anything. That would later become the norm, and started establishing how they would make games like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and I don't know if they kept doing that past 10. The story was incredibly, massively, hugely inspired by Star Wars, something they're very open about and have never been quiet to admit their sources on that. In fact, both Terada and Sakaguchi have personally quoted Empire Strikes Back as something that they were focusing on when it came to developing this game. They wanted the plucky rebellion, they wanted the evil empire, but they also wanted it to be very character-focused. They wanted to keep the story zoomed in as much as they could, which, once again, is funny if you know anything about the story of this game. This is all just as a random anecdote before I move forward to the next big thing, which is the real thing you want me to talk about. This is also when chocobos and moogles were invented. Now, I paused there because I was waiting for people to just jump on me and be like, moogles aren't in this game! Excuse me, streamer! You are correct, moogles are not in this game. They were, however, invented for this game. They just didn't actually do anything with them. No, they didn't even get turned into the beavers. This is fascinating. I was actually reading about this today, this morning. They actually designed the moogles. They look horrifying. I'll point them out if we encounter them, because they're an enemy in the game. And they were like, okay, here. And they were like, no, we can't fit them in. That's too lighthearted for a game about death and destruction and darkness. So moogles were kicked down the road and would show up in 3. But chocobos did actually show up. Oh yeah, one last thing really quick. I mentioned Kenji Terada. He's the scenario writer for FF1, 2, and 3. So most of the plot issues of all 3 of those games sit on his shoulders. But what I find interesting is that he is a very prolific writer of anime. Anime movies, anime shows. I don't know, I said... No, yeah, that's right. Anime movies and anime shows. And something called an OVA. I don't actually know what that is. But he has done an inordinate quantity of anime. Oh, and FF1 through 3. That makes sense, Dream Whisperer. I don't blame you. Original video animation. What's the difference between that and an anime? Oh, TV movie. That's just a film. Okay, got it. Miniseries. That's... okay. Anyways, so point being, he's written a crap ton of anime. We're just going to call all that anime. And he was the one who sat down and wrote this. And it was his idea, and I found this fascinating. It was his idea to make FF2 not connected to FF1. An idea that Sakaguchi just jumped on. Some of you have probably heard this, especially if you've seen Resident Arc. Huge shout outs and props to those guys. They're awesome. But a lot of people like to quote Sakaguchi as the dude who's like, no sequels. Every title we put out has to be like self-contained and individual. And there's a wonderful quote, which I don't remember and I couldn't find off the top of my head. Sorry, I had limited time to set up for this. But it boils down to a given game's story should self-conclude. Ergo, there's no room for sequels or stories. Now, I disagree with that massively. That's insane. However, that was the mentality that he pushed for all of the titles that he directed. After Years says hello. So, I mean, there's worse things. That's the funny thing. Like, I actually do disagree with him massively, but at the same time, it's better than having a bunch of nonsense that just doesn't connect to each other, right? I mean, imagine connecting FF7 and 10. That'd be ridiculous. Anyways. Point being, that he was very anti that, and that came from Tereda. And so, as a direct consequence of that, no, we're not doing the Pixel remaster. As a direct consequence of that, the two of them championed that idea many, many times throughout the course of their career. And so, that's why FF2 was not connected to FF1. And the whole reason I mentioned that is because they had many, what are described as very, what's a good word for like rowdy? Like if you're having a fight with someone, but not literally, you're just arguing with them. What's a good word for that?
I knew a word, but I forgot it.
That's okay. How about impolite? How's that sound? That's a good word. They had very many impolite meetings about this because the executives at Square said, you're off your rocker. You're making a sequel to FF1. And both Terada and Sakaguchi just like locked in. It was like, no, we're not. And it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Fine, whatever. Make your stupid unconnected game. We don't even care. We're still calling it FF2. And they were like, fine. And by the way, that's not the last time they would have this particular row. Anyways, now we have to talk about leveling. But first I have to say hi to my adorable niece.
Can I go? Can I have shark?
Sure. Why do you want a shark? All you want is sharks. All I have to you is a shark dispenser. No, my own niece doesn't love me. She just wants me for sharks.
I love you.
Do you?
I do.
I believe you. Tell you what, I will give you a blue shark. But you got to be careful. These are starting to run out. And you have lots of other candies. And here's the rule. I'm not going to refill any of these until they're all gone, okay? I'm in favor of variety.
Oh, we should probably get one for Halo.
That's a good idea. You are absolutely right. Good thought. I love you.
Me too.
Hard. So.
Halo. And she loves sharks.
Exactly. I think she'll like it. So let's talk leveling. I have studied leveling in this game extensively because, wow. So there's a gentleman named Akitoshi Kawazu, excuse me. And you probably are familiar with his work because he's the guy behind the Saga system, the series. Capital S-A, capital G-A. That's his baby, and all of that grew out of this game. I've talked about this a bajillion times. So he really wanted this system where you use it and you level it. I don't think this is the first use it, level it system in gaming, but it is certainly among the first. Where do I even begin? Okay, so the idea here is that you do something and then you gain something. I punch you, my fist skill goes up and my strength goes up, right? I get hit in the face, my stamina goes up and my health goes up. Basic system. The thing is, first point, and I'm just going to say this as nicely as I can, I've basically never seen that done well. The closest I've ever seen to that being executed properly is actually in an MMO that I've talked about entirely too much called Asheron's Call. In AC, one of the things you could do is you use it, you level it. But the thing is, the reason that worked there is because that was effectively bonus points. The real way in which you leveled in AC was you gained experience, which would then go into a giant pool. And then you could pluck out that experience and spend that on your stats individually. And that one thing just fixed the whole system, essentially, right? Because you could level an AC up to like 30 or 40 just by using it and leveling it. But by that point in time, you might see deficiencies. Maybe you want to switch things around a little bit. Maybe, yeah, West of Loathing did the same thing, if you remember. I actually forgot about that, but you're absolutely right. Maybe you want to focus on one specific stat. Maybe you want to spread yourself out a little bit more. Maybe you just haven't been getting certain stats because of some kind of like glitch or bug in what you're using or what equipment you've been getting access to. The extra X pool helps you cover that. Boom. No such thing exists in FF2. There's no experience pool. Or more accurately, there's hundreds of experience pools. So here's how this works. Every single stat in the game requires you to have 100 experience to gain a stat up in that. How you gain experience varies. So, just to make sure I don't screw anything up, I've actually got a list right here I've prepared in advance. So, HP is actually fairly simple. All you have to do is end the battle with less HP than you started it. Do note the very specific way I'm phrasing that. In other words, let me run you through two scenarios here, okay? I start the battle, I have 100 HP. I get shot in the face. Ugh, I take 15 damage. Ugh. I'm now negative 15. But I healed myself with a potion. I'm back to full health. How much experience do I gain at the end of battle? The answer is none. Because my HP value didn't go down. Here's another scenario. Let's say I'm in the middle of a battle, and I get hit once for 1 damage. Now I gain full experience at the end of the battle, because there is a gap that's greater than 0 between my starting HP and my current HP. Also, there are spells and abilities in this game that just kind of change your HP value without doing damage, which can also apply for this. In fact, there was... I don't even know if this is actually really viable, but way back in the day, like 20 years ago back in the day, it was considered a strategy to go ahead and use the swap spell constantly to raise your MP and your HP. Just swap. I don't know if that's really a good strategy, whatever. And yeah, no, exactly, Dakota. There's no overflow, there's no gambits, there's nothing. Probably Pillars of Snow. It's been a hot minute since I played this on the NES. In fact, I'm pretty sure I played this on the... In fact, no, I did. It would have been 98 or 99 when I played this on the NES, because I remember where I was living at the time. So yeah, it has been a hot minute since I've played this version of the game. I swore I never would again. I'm a liar. The good news is I really never will again after this. This is it. I'm chopping this off. Next time we're playing this, we're playing the Pixel Remaster. Anywho, MP is the exact same thing. MP is lower than it started. MP experience. Cool. Now, hang on. I can just hear the question. You might not have even thought of it, but it's probably in the back of your mind. How much experience do you gain? Random. Literally, it's literally random. How does your strength go up? Now, this is funny. How do you think... Oh, no, I of course, would only use very, very legal versions of this game. Well, damn it, Mad Overlord, no! All right, so how do you think strength goes up? Just for funsies, how do you think strength goes up? Anybody who knows the answer to this, Pillars of Snow. I guess I should be looking up. Pillars of Snow. So, yeah, the answer is you have to select the fight command. The attack command, excuse me. Doing damage, doing physical damage, hitting with a weapon, doesn't matter. You have to select the fight command. Now, remember the number 100, okay? Just remember that for a second. So, select the fight command. Spirit is the same thing. You have to cast a white magic spell. Intellect is you have to cast a black magic spell. And... Stamina is the exact same formula as health. Magic is the exact same formula as MP. Agility is... We'll get to that in a second. So the reason I mentioned the 100 is also weapons and spells all have their own experience. Because everything has an experience. You get an experience bar, and you get an experience bar. And all of them need 100 experience per level. And I think the levels go up to 16, I want to say, off the top of my head. So... and of course, the stats go up to 99, MP goes up to 999, HP goes up to quad 9. Each of those experiences are gained based on using that particular thing in a given combat, using the command, essentially. Now, the reason I mentioned the 100 thing is because it actually caps how many times you can do a thing per battle, which is 100 times. To explain that a little bit, if you somehow sit in a battle and cast heal on yourselves 100 times, and the battle doesn't end, then your experience is capped off for your MP, for your magic stat, and for your spirit stat, because it only counts for the first 100 interactions. That's actually relevant, believe it or not, because it truncates some of the leveling methods that exist in this game. Can you hit yourself for experience? Yeah, absolutely. All it requires is selecting the fight command, right? And having lower HP than you started. That's it. This also, the version of the game we're playing has the menu command glitch, which I forget what it's called, in which inputting the command, not finishing the command, was the thing that's calculated. What that means in practical application is you could select fight, cancel, fight, cancel, fight, cancel, fight, cancel, fight, cancel, fight, cancel, and each one of those is counting up for the experience, capping at 100, of course. So why do I mention the 100 thing? Well, the amount of experience you gain for strength, spirit, intellect, and all of the weapon skills and magic skills, so the individual spells, all of those are capped at 100 usages per battle. And that is that each of those usages determines how much experience you gain for that stat at the end of combat. Okay, cool. There's something I keep kind of stepping over, and that's agility. So just anybody in chat, how do you think agility levels? Please don't answer if you know the answer. And yeah, I remember leveling in FFT. Leveling in FFT. Okay, running away. Good guess. Good guess, actually. Getting hit. Another good guess. Dodging hit. Very, very good guess. That's actually exactly what I would assume. None of these are true, by the way. You're going to laugh. So the way you gain experience and agility is random. I actually have the formula right in front of me. Every single combat, you have a 1 in 255 chance to gain 4 experience in your agility stat. Now, you can do math. That means you have a 1 in 255 chance per battle, and you have to hit that number 25 times to gain 1 agility. Music is appropriate. Now, you're probably thinking, well, God, agility must be terrible. Actually, agility is extremely useful. That's the frustrating part. Agility is incredibly useful because agility, it changes your evasion. For those of you not aware, evasion is God in this game. Evasion is how you live through this game. You can... So, let's talk about this a little bit. So you got light armor and heavy armor. I don't even remember if the game tells you this. I just know all this because I know this game too well. But there's light armor and heavy armor. Heavy armor destroys your evasion, right? But it gives you tons and tons of absorb stat. Light armor increases your evasion. You gotta see where we're going with this. Now, your evasion stat in-game, it'll be a number and then a dash and then a percentage, okay? The number is how many hits you can avoid, and the percentage is how likely you are to avoid those. The calculation is actually very simple. If you have a 7-50, what that means is you have a 50% chance to dodge 7 hits per attack. Boom, that's it. Yes, it does actually, Agi, but not by raising your agility. Because, again, agility is completely random. Oh my God, you're a completely random agility skeleton. I knew it! Sorry. Just connected that. So, you can reach a point in this game relatively easily, if you get your evasion stat good, to just not get hit. To just not be able to get hit. And I don't have a stat in front. I should have pulled something up here. Hang on. Let me pull up the final boss really quick. All at once, but I'll explain in just a second. Let me pull up the stats here. It's always in this weird spot. Hang on. There's this really great website. Here it is. Gamer Corner Guides, which has some great, really crunchy numbers on all the specifics. So let's look at the final boss of the game. Okay, I'm not going to tell you who it is. It's Emperor Mateus. But the point is, the very, very final boss has an attack stat of 8/100. Okay, what that means is he has a 100% chance to hit with 8 attacks. Now, the chance to hit and chance to evade are calculated separately. So he rolls his attack, and 8 hits are coming your way, and they're all going to hit. And so what the engine will then do is calculate all 8 hits damage, but he has 100%. I'm saying this wrong. The idea here is that it'll calculate the damage of the 8 hits separately, but the hit chance is calculated as one bundle. All 8 hits have only one attack roll. You with me? They have 8 damage rolls, but 1 attack roll. It's the same in the reverse. You have 1 evasion roll. Okay? So if you have somehow 795 or something like that, yeah, again, because the NES, because programming. So if you have a 795 stat, which is extremely easy to get if you know what you're doing, then you have a 95% chance to just kind of not get hit by anything in the game, except for like the last boss, who will hit you with 1 attack, because he has 8 attacks and you can only evade 7 of them. You with me? So evasion can make you just basically invincible if you know what you're doing. There are some bypasses and some loops around that, but that is the king stat. And agility massively raises your evasion chance, which is probably why it's nerfed to the point where you will probably do an entire playthrough and never see an agility go up. For the record, I have played this game and never seen agility go up on several playthroughs. So, I mentioned each of the weapons and spells have their own stats and their own things that matters. So what it is the experience you get depends on how many uses you do, capping at 100, the average rank of your encounter, I'll talk about that in a second, the modifier, and your current level. In other words, it's supposed to get harder and harder to... Oh, absolutely, Connection. It's supposed to get harder and harder to level as you get higher up, but that's supposed to be offset by the rank encounter. The rank of the encounter, excuse me. The encounter rank is determined by this fascinating stat. So every enemy in the game has a specific thing, which is like, this is the relative, for lack of a better way to put it, level of the encounter. So I'm actually looking at this guy right here. His level is 170, right? So the higher, let's say I've got 4 enemies. Let's say I kill 2 of them, 1 of them runs away, and then I kill the 3rd one. So these 3 enemies' levels are then tabulated together, and that determines how much experience I get from whatever I did in that fight. Stuff like that. No, actually, it's not bugged. Amusingly enough, FF2 is nowhere near as bugged as FF1 is. That's not to say it isn't bugged. It's just not as barely functional as FF1 is. Although that's a good thing to bring up too here while we're here. Let's see, we've got all kinds of wonderful, wonderful bugs in FF2. Let's just get, so we've got the target cancel bug is the one I just already mentioned. There is a new Peninsula Power, of course. There's the shield attack bug. That's a fun one. We also have, there is an overflow bug. There's another overflow bug. There's a 3rd overflow bug. There's the targeting bug, which that's one probably going to come up. And dual wielding has some issues, and it's possible to have a character with 0 HP and not be dead, which is very strange. So, yeah. I mentioned the overflow bug. Let me talk about the overflow bug really quick, because this is one that's actually problematic. So, I mentioned how the HP is capped at quad 9 and triple 9. I lied to you. Sorry. The actual cap is 65,535, a number that should be very familiar to anybody who's ever done programming in their life. In other words, there actually is no cap to the HP or MP. It will only show you so much, but under the hood, it's calculating that to its full level, whatever it is. So you can be running around with 65,000 health. Why is that a problem? What do you think happens if you max out the health at 65,535 and then gain 1 HP? Again, easier to do than you'd think. And you'll have no idea, because you'll see quad 9. And you'll just keep saying quad 9 over and over and over and over for many, many levels until all of a sudden your health is 1. Because, yeah, it overflows. By the way, evasion does the same thing. So I gotta actually remind myself of the specifics of the middle character bug, because it's actually pretty relevant to even like a normal playthrough. Um, yeah, that's what I thought. So there's a targeting bug in FF2. Oh, there's another bug. I gotta remember the other bug too. There's a targeting bug in FF2. So what's supposed to happen is the top person in the top is supposed to be targeted most, and then the person in the second slot is like half of them. The third person is half of them, and the fourth person is half of them. So you should have what is effectively rows. Now, obviously, you can have front row and back row. This is separate from that, right? This is exactly how FF1 worked, too. In FF1, the person at the top should be attacked like 8 times more than everyone else, or something like that. So in FF2, that doesn't work. Instead, it's the middle 2 slots of the 4. So it's these 2 guys in the middle here. They get targeted way more than everyone else. And if one of these guys is in the back row, this guy up here in the front row is targeted, I want to say something like 16 times the amount of times everyone else is. That's not on purpose. That is a bug, to be clear. But it means if you really, really, really want Guy to be a tank, well, you just put him right there and he'll be targeted by everything. What was the other bug I was just thinking about? Oh God, I don't remember. Oh, right. There is actually. So this is a bug that will get a negative. I know that sounds strange, but like some of these bugs you won't really see in a normal playthrough. It's kind of esoteric stuff. The targeting thing sucks. That's probably going to be a negative. So when you gain a stat up, another stat can go down. I believe it's strength. Raising strength lowers int and vice versa. And then raising stamina lowers magic, I want to say, and vice versa. Something like that. And that sucks. And you're probably thinking, that sucks. Yeah, that's a bad thing, but why is that a bug? That's not the bug. The bug is how often it happens. In a bug that is exclusive to this version of the game, your odds of having... So there's a chance. There's a calculation of whether or not you're getting a stat decrease or not. It's supposed to be a pretty small stat decrease. I don't know why it's there, but it's supposed to be a small chance. By the way, it's worth noting in every version from, I believe, the PS1 version onwards, they've just completely ejected that mechanic. But in the NES version, just guess, what are your chances of losing a stat every time you gain a stat? No, Pillars, no, don't do it. Don't do it. It is, in fact, 50%. It is a literal 1 in 2. And if that doesn't sound high, please think about that for a second. You have a 50% chance to lose stats every time you gain stats in this game. Yeah, it's a straight coin flip. The goal is not to, Trihexia. I will probably fail at that. Forced specialization. I mean, if they did it on purpose, that would be a little bit different. Problem is, it is a bug. It is not on purpose. By the way, there's another interesting little bug in this game. So, this is just a funsy one. When you get hit with a spell, you gain magic defense, aka spirit, right? Well, what happens if you get hit an AoE spell? It should be the exact same thing, right? However, because of the exact value they put for where to pay attention to the experience counter for raising experience on AoE spells, it always points to the same location. It doesn't point to an individual character, or sorry, it doesn't point to like a, what do you call it, a dynamic number or whatever. It points to a static number. In that case, Furion. So the only person who actually gains experience from AoE spells being hit on them is Furion. So if you're wondering why Furion is just a really good magic tank, that's why. One last bug, and this one also probably deserves a negative. Well, yeah, I'm killing you. Hang on, I should be jotting these down. It's the bugs that we're going to be. So we've got uh, the stat reduction bug, and because that's relevant. The targeting bug. Let's see here. The last one is the dual wield bug. So, for those of you not aware, you have two hands. You can equip whatever in them. You can do shield, shield. You can do unarmed and shield. You can do weapon and unshield. You can do weapon and weapon. You get it. So imagine for a moment that you decide to equip two weapons. If you do, a lot of formulas change in how they calculate the damage. The idea is that you will overall do more damage. Just to summarize that. So it's generally considered beneficial to dual wield. Except in the NES version, where there's a unique bug where the weapon in your offhand is never calculated. There is no calculation for it. So you'll walk forward and go whoosh, whoosh, and it will just do the damage of the one weapon. Lower than it was when you entered battle, Jamal. So I'm going to jot down a question mark here for a few things. I think that's good. I think we've discussed everything to a decent amount of extent here. Just this game is wild, and I'm going to be trying. So I haven't actually talked about this because we kind of didn't really. This is technically one of our first FFs we're really covering like this. I know what you're thinking, but all the other ones you've covered. No. So FF1 was the Renaissance version, right? And I had to pull some bull crap to make that even doable because I made the wonderfully atrocious decision to not have a white mage in my party. And let me tell you, if you know anything about FF1, that was a disastrous idea. 2, FF13 is kind of its own animal, and FF16 is a brand new beast. And Mystic Quest doesn't have most of these asterisks. So I know FF1 through about 9 very, very well, to the point where I can pull some bullcrap in these games. The goal here is to not do that for this particular series of reviews. So I'm going to try to not pull bullcrap unless I get shoved into a corner, in which case I will have to. And there's only really 3 games I'm worried about that on, and those are 2, 3, and 8. So we're going to be doing a normal playthrough of FF2, and we're going to see how that goes. I don't expect it will go very well. Let's cut off all this amazing pixel remaster music. Nobody wants that. Get that trash out of here. Get that garbage out of here. There will be a few occasional graphics errors. Just to let you know that that's going to be a thing. I know 10 pretty well, but I couldn't tell you how to, for example, start the leveling cycle in the Monster Arena from memory. I would have to actually go and look that stuff up. By contrast, if you asked me where to get, I don't know, where do I get a regular source of elixirs in Final Fantasy VI, I can answer that right off the top of my head. You go to the island where you start as Celeste in the second world, and you have to steal from the enemies there very quickly because they will die otherwise. They also can give you a very good blue magic spell if you can manage to control them in time, or sketch is another way you can do that. Best grind spot in 6 depends on what you want, ironically enough. If you were specifically looking for a little bit of experience, lots and lots of gold, and tons of magic points, you want to be in the Cactuar Desert, which is just south of Miranda, I believe. If you want raw experience, just get your levels pumped up as much as possible and hope you've got some good Esper set up for that, then you want to go up to the Dinosaur Forest. There are other answers, too. And yeah, I know how, no, exactly, Posers know. I know exactly where to get water very early on in FF8, and if that doesn't sound like a big deal, then you don't know FF8 as well as I do, and that's my point. I know FFs 1 through 9 from memory very well, to varying degrees. I've sped run 6, for example, and 4. And I've done a bunch of challenge runs in both. And I've done tons of 4-job fiestas in 5. And I've gotten water and water and... But 10, I don't know quite to the same extent. Okay, so there's our lovely graphics. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, look at that beauty. In a far-off land, a long peace has ended. The Paramekian Empire has summoned Hellspawn, capital H, in hopes to rule the world. The people of Finn fought bravely for their kingdom and lost. Now 4 of Finn's youth must flee to Altair, with the enemy just behind. Alright, so we're just gonna be boring here. Whoop, oh god. Hang on. Step 1, summon demons! Oh god, I don't remember who voiced all these people. Also, their names probably wouldn't fit. Hang on, so Furion was random. Maria was Rai Okami. Oh god, who voiced Guy? Hang on, who voiced Guy? Yeah, character portraits. I'm telling you a story. That was it, Tamaz. Hang on, one second. I actually like that idea. Let's do that. Let's do that. Rewrite plug. There we go. Okay, so this will actually not be Furion. This will be random. I should have enough room. Yep, random. Yep, okay. This will be... who do we get to voice? Very unlikely, Mr. Red. We'll see. This is Chaotic Danny. And then this was Rai. Great actress. I've done a lot of great stuff with her over the years. The only complaint I have ever had with her was actually in this role. Rai Okami, she couldn't sound angry enough. There was a scene where I wanted her to sound absolutely livid, like she was on the verge of breaking and her voice was cracking, and she couldn't do it. No judgment. It's just it's the only complaint I've ever had for her. She also voiced Freya over in Final Fantasy IX. And no, Elizar. And a few other things. By the way, Elizar, congrats. You won the guessing game for the previous game. So I put that towards Sonic Adventure 1, Pokemon Crystal, and Disciples. I just want to make sure I spell this correctly. And then we'll put a B here for the last name. There we go. Okay, so this is how the game starts. Interesting thing to do. Okay, I'm with it. Alright, so let's go ahead and attack these things. So, fun fact, these enemies actually are an enemy later in the game, but even when you fight them later in the game, you're not actually supposed to be able to kill them. So that's fun. Many people have theory crafted about finishing this fight, and the amount of luck and control necessary to make this fight winnable is so insanely ridiculous, it is TAS only, and only through memory manipulation. Anyone want to guess what happens if you win this fight? And while I wait for an answer to that, in answer to Evo's question, this game came out in 1988. What happens? Nothing. It just progresses as if nothing changed. It acts like you lost the fight. So we'll just fight for a bit here. So yeah, he just hit us for 800, in case you missed that. Well, yep. Rai's just carrying, as usual here. Yeah, so we just beat them and hey, we're here! Will he survive? Yes. It'll not be long before he regains consciousness. He has a strong life force. I found him as I was fleeing Finn, unconscious and covered in blood. Save him! I've amplified his life force. Let's let him be for now. You're right, we should get going. Everybody's waiting for us at the meeting. If the Empire completes their warship at Bofsk, we'll stand no chance against them. We're immediately okay. Where am I? The others. Chaotic. Ryokami. Tomas. Like, best character or best boom magic? Humble. Random, you're alive. Where's Chaotic? We were rescued by the Princess of Finn, but Chaotic Danny hasn't been found yet. It's alright, I'm sure he's alive. By the way, everyone praises Pandemonium. Can I just say, I think this is actually one of the best songs in the game. So you've recovered. Good. Princess, please let us fight with your rebel army against the Empire. That's sudden, isn't it? Like, right? Like, they really just shove you into this immediately. It's like, alright, you nearly died fleeing from the Imperial forces at Finn. You barely recovered, please let us fight for you, is the exact follow-through there. Settle down. In your current state, you'll only be throwing your lives away. You're level 0. What's a level? We don't have levels in this game. Oh, yeah. We've got nothing else to live for. Our family. Our homes. Gone. I'm sorry. Well, you may stay here in Altair if you wish. Remember the Wild Rose. It's the crest of Finn and the secret password of our rebel army. So this is Minwo. Your destiny will be intertwined with mine. I can feel it. But first, head towards Finn. Hang on. So... yeah, Furian's apparently just fighter. So this system... sucks, is the way I'm going to phrase this. Is this game playable on PC? Yes, if you get the Pixel Remaster version, which is a much better version of this game. So, yeah, I'm going to learn the password there. This system, like, it's... I'm being a little bit harsh here. But I get what they were going for, this system, but really all it boils down to is having to use the buttons multiple times when you talk to people. All it really means in practical application is every time you learn a new item... oh yeah, by the way, Bragwin voiced Hilda. Every time you learn a new phrase, you just then say it to everybody that lets you say it to. And that's it. There's no gameplay there. There's nothing. It's just hey... I wonder how Finn is doing now. I saw captives being gathered there. If we're going to try to find Ryokami's brother, Chaotic Danny, Finn might be a good place to start. However, it's become a very dangerous town ever since the Empire seized it. Be careful. Yeah, like with so many other games in the 80s, it was more of an interesting idea than it was worthwhile. So I will say, Rose, I see you're using the password. Try saying it to others, too. Finn Castle has been taken by the Empire. Their monsters are all over the place. To the east is the port of Palm, but a large lake blocks the way. You could get there if you had a canoe, though. This is the meeting room. This is the meeting room. I think that was the meeting room. Yeah, no, this is an NES game, and I'm not going to be too harsh about that. But this is the King's room. He was critically injured by the Empire soldiers. This is the King's room. He was critically injured by the Empire soldiers. Nothing there. There's nothing there. I'm seeing things. Oh, the pain. My daughter Hilda will tell you everything. So this is... If you ever use a password on someone who doesn't have a programmed response for it, you'll get that exact same response. Oh, God, this is going to take some getting used to. Okay. God attack. No! Okay, I'm okay. Oh yeah, and to avoid nonsense, I'm just gonna save like that whenever we save. I might get a few hard saves here and there, because, you know, standard practices. This is Altair's rebel base. Kashuan's Prince Gordon is here in Altair. It seems he has lost his confidence, though. I'm sure we'll hear some good things about Gordon soon. Princess Hilda fled here to Altair when Finn was seized. She took control of the rebellion when the king was fatally wounded. She's also a Lamia, but that's unrelated. Procured potion. I just want you to know that I'm resisting the urge to immediately start leveling. I'm Paul, the world's greatest thief. There's nothing I can't steal. Wild Rose. I never steal from rebels. My hometown of Finn was invaded. You know what is fan art of FF2? Although, I have seen cosplay. Mostly of Mateus. Who is not named in this game at all, by the way, but I'll continue to call him that because that's his frickin' name. He was first named in the novelization of this game, which I have referenced much more during the lore run when we were discussing it. I'm not going to reference it here because it's an Elseworlds. It's a completely different story. The Empire hasn't attacked Altair yet, thankfully. Even though they know we're here, but whatever. How's our money looking? Oh, yeah. Look at those beautiful stats. These are actually not too bad. I guess I shouldn't complain. So, strength, agility, stamina, intellect, spirit, defense, attack, hit chance. We have one attack with a 70% chance to hit. Evade, 114, magic power, and magic defense. All of this is actually pretty parsable. Although, I'll be honest with you, if I didn't tell you what 170 meant, you probably would not know what that meant. At least not specifically. But still, that's better than some games I've seen. In fact, that's better than some SNES games I've seen, so I'll give that a pass. And hey, look, actual equipment slots instead of what we had in FF4, which was total nonsense. Are you kidding? I'm sorry, are the Pixel Remasters seriously on sale right now? Yeah, this game is $7 right now. You can buy every Pixel Remaster game right now for $44, which is a freaking steal, by the way. Yeah, I need to do my next stat. Yeah, you can buy FFs 1 through 6 for less than a new game. Please trust me when I say that is a bargain. It is debatable which of those are really worth which of those are really worth playing. But FF7R1 and 2 are also on sale right now, apparently. You know what? Hang on. Where's Steam? Where's Steam? Give me 1 second, please, because I might need to buy a video game for a friend right now. Evil Laughter. I honestly think FF1 Pixel Remaster is worth it for the historical significance, if nothing else. I mean that. Feel free to put it down or crank up the in-game help or whatever cheat stats once you're done with it, but I still think it's actually worth a playthrough. Three, we'll get there. There's a reason I think 3DS is in the running for one of the worst. 2, I mean no insult to anybody. I'm not sure if I can recommend 2. I have not played the Pixel Remaster of 2, so I don't know how much better that's going to be. But it's still 2. It is, in fact, on sale. What do you know? I might buy one of these for myself, actually. Yes, 3DS is FF3 Remake. It's the same one I'm mentioning. What the hell's Cruelty Squad? And why are you bringing this up? What is wrong with you, Talia? Alright, by the way, Final Fantasy Tactics, which I'm buying right now, just got... second. There we go. Just got a patch which added New Game Plus, among other convenience features. I have decided... Oh, I actually am aware of Cruelty Squad. Yeah, I'm vetoed. Hard vetoed. Never touching it. Moving on. So this... Here. Do. But yeah, so Final Fantasy Tactics is did just get a patch. It just got New Game Plus mode, and something to do with the compatibility was changed. I don't actually know the specifics because I barely know the compatibility in FF Tactics because most people don't even know that the compatibility system even exists in Final Fantasy Tactics because of how irrelevant it is. No, I know it's the Zodiac thing. I couldn't tell you what it does off the top of my head. I do not know what it actually does. I'm sorry this is taking me so long. I swear Steam's search engine has gotten worse, which I suppose would make sense because everyone's search engine has gotten worse lately. Surely I'm not the only one who's noticed that. Yeah, you know what exactly what you're looking for? You're good. If you don't, sucks to be you. What's funny is search had gotten decent. I don't want to oversell, but like you could reverse engineer a lot of searches and do some pretty good searching for quite a while. Then we had a few years of that, and then they were like, "Let's break it because we're evil," and it's like, okay, it didn't, whatever. Thanks, guys. So someone asked about brickwork. So I'm going to spoil something for you. The brickwork of FF2 is nigh identical to the brickwork of FF1, which means I'm probably going to go ahead and give the exact same number of positives to brickwork for FF1 that I did FF2, which is to say, 1. 1 brickwork positive for the entire game. It is one of the most pity positives that is possible for me to give. Yeah. It's still true, though. I do actually stand by it. I do think there is enough brickwork in the NES version specifically to at least indicate where you are, what you're doing. You know, the lava place looks like lava, the ice place looks like ice. It is at least doing the bare bones of indicating where you are and what you're engaging with. I'm not settled on that for 2. We'll have to pay attention as we go. Now, the GBA version, as with most other things about the GBA, the sprite work is phenomenal. Are the 13 games worth of crap? Hey, Walker, do you know what score I gave FF13 1? Just off the top of your head. So that's my answer about FF13 1. Here's the caveat. I've never reviewed FF13 2 or 3. I've played both, but only with Omega cheats, and that really does change your perspective on a game. For example, I've never played FF3 NES without Omega cheats. So I'm not sure how that one is either. I've only played the DS version of FF3 without cheats, and that was a chore. It has actually been argued that FF3 NES might actually score worse than FF3 DS. I'm not sure about that. But I'm not playing FF3 3 times to find out. Anyways. So. I will say this, the interface is less cumbersome in this game than it was in FF1. That is a low freaking bar, but a bar it has crossed. Alright, we go. So we got 400 gil to start off with. So I'm not going to actually buy anything to start with. I'm not going to use the unarmed strat, don't worry. Tempted. Okay, so we can afford we can afford Cure, which we're going to go ahead and use like, immediately. Who do we want to be our healer? I feel like Guy being the healer just kind of makes a weird amount of sense, so let's do that. So now he has level 0 Cure. Yeah, especially my guy. That is exactly what I was thinking, Talia. Oh, here's Gordon. I am Prince of Kashuan, excuse me. Now I'm just a lowly coward. My clan fled from Kashuan, but my brother Scott was captured by the Empire. You want to join the war? If you succeed, remember what a coward I am. I mean, honestly, I'm weirded out that more games don't make your healer like your tank, right? Like, is that just me? Doesn't that just seem so logical? Like, you can't do any damage, sure, but, like, you've got tons of health, tons of absorb and/or evasion, and you're the healer. Duh. Okay, what do we got here? I don't know what any of those are. I mean, actually, that's not true, but why are they so expensive? Oh my god! The potions are kind of cheap. But we're going to avoid that because we might need those for antidotes, healing, and... Oh my god, why are those like, so expensive? Oh. Oh yeah, this is a fun one. So, you'll notice it costs me nothing to stay the night. This is an interesting choice. It charges you more based on how much they're healing you for. Now, on the one hand, it's like, I don't have to spend as much. But in Reality Land, what that means is inns are actually more expensive in this game than they were back in FF1. So here's some awesome music. And an airship. Get used to that. What I find really funny is there is one airship, canonically, right now. There's a second one being built, but there's one airship. So every time we see that, it's the same frickin' dude. Sid, could you piss off, please? And thank you, Dylan. Alright, so I'm honor-bound to do this. I'm gonna go left. So, who's ready for the worst part of the game? That's a lie. That's such a lie. Oh, he fled. Okay, so I attack the air, and then I attack the air, and then I attack the air. Now, anybody in chat, why did I just attack the air 3 times? No target update. What's funny is this is the last of these games that does that. FF3, I'm pretty sure, I shouldn't say that so definitively, but I'm pretty sure FF3 lets you... Sorry, you know, I can literally just test that. Hang on, 1 second. Give me 1 second, because I can literally just open up FF3 right now. Oop. We're going to find out in a few seconds here, Walker. We're all going to attack that front one. See what happens. God, it's funny. This is night and day compared to... Okay, here it is, here it is. It rolled over. It rolled over, see? There you go. So yeah, I was correct, but I want to verify. They fixed it in 3. Love that attack chance on her, by the way. And she's not dead yet? Oh yeah, look at that hit chance. We have a 70% chance to hit, by the way, and we are just not hitting anything. Please attack before she dies. Please kill this thing before she dies. Please kill. Thank you. Jesus Christ. So, Vitality up, int down, power up, HP up. All on Rai. That's actually pretty good. She needs it. Okay, hang on. Hey, we can save. That's it. You save on the overworld. That's it. No, it was negative 50.33, I want to say, Elizar. Why int down? Well, I discussed this earlier, so forgive me for not going fully in depth into it, but all of the primary stats are associated with some other primary stat, which has a 1 in 2 chance of going down when you raise that stat. So that, as we in the business say, sucks. So I got 18 gold out of that, okay? Okay, this is why I checked that. It costs 6 to recover at the end. That's good. That's actually a good thing. If you remember, we've talked about this before, there are plenty of RPGs that do not make it so that you can pull yourself out of the red. And that is bad design, to be very frank about that. Positives for music? Call of Duty, Elizar. The game we just played, Modern Warfare 2R, you guessed negative 50. It was negative 50.33. You won. Congrats. What's the issue here? Do you not want to win? Do you want me to remove the win? Removing the win! Adjusting reality before your very eyes. I am likely to give a music positive. Like, it's extremely likely that that's going to happen. So I'll just jot that down now. I sincerely doubt that we'll go above 1 positive, but we might have a song positive. Maybe. It's a huge maybe. I mean, Uematsu knew what he was doing even at this point. Remember, he was another long-term vet by the time he started working on the Final Fantasy series, so he was already at the bleeding edge, or the cutting edge, or whatever the super edge is, as far as music on video games, when this game was new. You should watch the highlight reel of Remind. It's a really good highlight reel. I do love the Rebel Bass song. No, I really do. Although, you really should listen to the proper version of the song if you're going to do that. Which, just for funsies, sounds a little bit like this. I know, it's a little bit of a difference. So, this is a good time I need to mention that the encounters in this first part of the game kinda suck. So, let's talk FF1 for a second. I swear it's relevant. In FF1, there's this thing called poison. And for whatever reason, like, oh, I forget the number. It's something like 70% of every enemy in FF1 can poison your team. They just went ham with it. It was pretty much the only status effect that they could actually do, so it was the thing they did to vary up enemy design. Okay, so this mud golem poisons you, and this asp poisons you, and this Sahagin poisons you, and this shark poisons you. Actually, that's not true. Sharks don't poison. It's one of the things that's unique about them. But I'm not joking. It is an absolutely bonkers high quality of enemies poisoning in FF1. So in FF2, poison is still quite prolific. In fact, it is almost as prolific as F1. Here's the catch. In FF2, they came up with other status effects, and most of them are worse. Do they have ribbons? I legitimately don't think that ribbons are in FF2. So, for the record, the ribbon helmet exists in FF1, but what it does is it reduces all magic damage. It doesn't actually get rid of status effects. So, off the top of my head, I actually don't know what the first FF was to use the ribbon, you know, the one that removes all status effects. I know 6 has it. I'm not sure what the first one is. I don't have any money. Why am I even looking at this? I have no money. Why am I even looking at shops? Where is it in 4? So everyone's worried about the warship. Getting some shields would be nice. Do I have... What's my gear? Oh, I have a shield. She has a bow. That's probably why she's sucking so badly. And he has an axe, two-hander. Finn's castle's been taken by the Empire. Their minions prowl around the town. It's dangerous. Ah, yep, nope. I actually know exactly what you're talking about. It's the 2 status effect bosses, isn't it? And they drop 2 ribbons. Yep, I remember now. There's a bar. It's right by the last save point. There's a bar at the edge of Finn. The owner houses a dying man who somehow escaped from the Empire. You can't use this. Cool. Well, all this is kind of useless to me. Is it possible to finish the game without leveling? No. There's not really such a thing as a low-level challenge in this game, not in the same sense of the words. But... Oh, hey! For my fallen homeland! I can't do Mr. Red. Only Mr. Red can do Mr. Red. So I was talking about poison. So enemies in this game, they can poison you. But they can also petrify you, toad you, kill you, and something else. And I can never remember what the other one is. But it's like 3 of them, right? And each of... Oh, Sid, would you piss off? God damn, dude. Each of... And you're probably thinking, why am I even bringing it up? Well, it's because all 3 of them just kill you. Like, they just kill you. That's all they do. Okay, so, yeah, we're cursed now. There's another new status effect they do. Curse. They just hit me for 400. We just hit them for 0. So, this is something I swear this is going to sound like I'm lying, and I swear I am not. I didn't do this on purpose, even though I was deliberately trying to do this. I figured I had a little bit further to go. Anyway, so we're dead, right? So, yeah, run is random, of course. Oh, yeah, I need to do this while we're here. Yeah, let's have Tomas here just take all the hits. Let's just make that a fact. Did you even know you could do that in this game? It's the select button, if you're wondering. Nope. Nope. I swore I could actually pull up the map in this game. Whatever, it doesn't matter, I guess. The reason I bring it up is I hope you're paying attention to the normal flow there, okay? I headed north, right? Because that was a fairly normal thing. There's a bridge right there, draws the eye. When you head north, you're kind of funneled in as to where you could go. And then we fight some stuff here really quick. We listen to some awesome music. We miss with our attacks because our accuracy is garbage. We're missing with every attack. Just all the misses. All the misses. Just, yeah. Hey, we hit one thing! Yeah! By the way, I'm pretty sure both enemies we're fighting here have the ability to kill us. That's to say, to poison us. I should check. Let's actually check that, shall I? Because I've got the database right here. There it is. Yep, so the Hornet can do that, and let's do the Leg Eater. Oh, the Leg Eater cannot poison. I'm actually surprised by that. Legitimately, a little shocked by that. Okay, so, to finish my sentence, walking north is pretty natural. There's a town right there. It's just there to refill. There's, like, nothing to that town. There's no story relevance to the town. You just go there to heal and recoup on your way north to Finn. Okay, that's cool. But once you leave the town, you get into a random encounter. And then you wait a few more minutes in order to finish your sentence. This is going to be a trend. I just want you to know this. I'm going to stress this, by the way. This might actually be the single worst overworld in the series. That is not an exaggeration, to be clear. Like, FF1's overworld is reasonably well designed. I have praised it for many years. 3's... 4's got some stuff. 5's got some stuff. 6 is decent. Okay, so hang on. Let's save. So we're going to head west, right? Logical way to go. Now, where do you go from right here? You basically have three choices, up, left, or down. And if you saw, what I was doing, without even really meaning to, was just kind of following left a little bit. And I only went left about one more screen from this point. And then I ran into some Mizidian mobs and died instantly. And because run is random, and I might not have saved by now, I might have just lost my entire playthrough, which, as it's worth, the first time I ever played this game, that is exactly what happened to me. It is distressingly easy to access Mizidian mobs at quite literally the beginning of the game, and all you have to do is go left a little bit. I know it's a somewhat infamous thing, and everyone's commented on it before, but it has to be re-emphasized just how easy it is in a normal playthrough to go a little bit too far west and die. No warning, no nothing. You just see another mob. You don't know that those are super ultra death mobs. You just are like, oh, okay, I'll start attacking them. And then they kill you. That's not great. Also, I love how I'm getting like 9 gil per fight here. Jesus Christ. Also, I need to show this stupid thing off for a second, if you'll forgive me. The save system's actually pretty decent for the time. It's probably a wash from our perspective. You've got 4 save slots, and you can just save on the overworld. And I hope you don't have to save anywhere other than overworld, because sucks to be you! Don't worry, there's no 9-floor dungeons in this game. Anyways. Combat giving us money? Oh, you're just getting greedy now, Trax, yeah. I've never heard of a troll room before. You're on crack, you're lying, you're insane. So here, real quick, here's the overworld map, okay? I just wanted you to see this super quick. This overworld sucks. I have no nice way to say this. Now, I've actually asked this question before. Real quick, do you think this overworld or FF1's is bigger? Anybody feel free to answer. Anybody doesn't actually know the answer to the question. One certainly feels bigger, has more overall locations, and much better flow. FF2's looks bigger if you stare at it on a map. But yeah, as I have already given away in previous things, the answer is neither. They are actually exactly the same size to the pixel. Which I was surprised by when I was doing it, because I was trying to make a point about how terrible this overworld is. So let's just look at this nonsense for a second. So we start at Altair there. You can see it kind of on the left there. As you can see, Mazidian Tower is just a little bit west of us. It's very close by. That's the Doom mobs. No, 2 is actually more empty, Moog. Because there's giant swaths of absolutely nothing in FF2. Like, just absolutely nothing. It's also very strangely designed. So, going north to Finn, which I just did, is a relatively small ask. If I wanted to, I could walk to the Dreadnought right now, and Palamecia, if I could somehow survive the trip. I could also reach Kashuan, and Bafsk, and Poft, and Salamand. And I think that's everything. Oh no, and I could reach Palum if I go the other way around. Because there's this weird thing where there's a strip of land in the northwest that loops around to the strip of land in the southeast. And it's a choice. It also means that there's some weird decisions you have to make with regards to navigation. We'll talk about this as we go. But the real point I want to point out is that this, first of all, this doesn't look like a map. At least FF1's map looks like a map. But second, and more importantly, there are gigantic swaths of nothing in this map. Huge empty fields of just grass for farther than the screen, where you can literally, if the entire screen is just grass. Same thing with desert, same thing with forest. There's just big empty swaths of nothing, which makes sense because they were rather hurried as they were going through this game. And yeah, you can literally walk to the Jade Passage from the beginning of the game if you really wanted to. You probably shouldn't, but you can. No, exactly, it feels undesigned just to look at it, and the flow of it is terrible. There's very few actual indicators of where you can go and what you should do at any given point in time. This contributes to walk-throughitis problems. FF1 didn't have as bad of a walk-throughitis because a lot of the flow of that game was designed, built into the overworld. Once you gain access to X, you have access to Y. Right? Here it's like, okay, now what? And I bet you most people who played this game, especially the first time you played this game, got lost at least once when you just weren't really sure where to go and what to do. Because, and I'm going to stress this again, I have access to most of the map now. I could walk to almost every location in the game right now. If I could hang, if I could level and survive that, which, by the way, it's worth noting I could do. I could just sit here, right here at the beginning of the game and level. And be extremely overpowered. Yeah, no, exactly, Dakota. You get where I'm going with this. The open-endedness of it actually screws with the guidance and flow of it. You can go wherever. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. Does the strength of what you're fighting matter? No! That's the thing. That's the thing. You're starting to see it, Mr. Ed. It's cognating in your brain. You get the exact same experience fighting goblins at the beginning of the game as you do fighting behemoths at the end. The only major change, there's two major changes, right? One is the gil you get at the end of the fight. Sure. But the other is how many hits they can take. But let me tell you, I am not the only person to go back to the beginning of the game to level, because it's just so much smoother to just mulch your way through enemies en masse, rather than trying to fight something at level, especially if you're falling behind the curve, which is extremely easy to do in this game. I say without hyperbole that it's one of the best things you can do. If you want to sit down and play this game, legitimate, especially if you're playing the Pixel Remaster, just spend some time leveling. Cast your spells, use whatever weapons you want to use, take some hits, right? Just do your thing, right? Just run around in a circle before you ever progress the plot, because it'll get you a little bit ahead of the curve. And this game, one of the problems of this game, yeah, exactly, Dakota. One of the problems of this game is that once you're ahead of the curve, you tend to stay there, and ironically, the game gets too easy. But if you get behind the curve, it's really frustrating to get caught back up. I have not played the Pixel Remaster version. We will, someday. It is something that I'm looking forward to trying out and seeing what they do with this. Okay. World. Sorry. Oh, I think I lost Eva. No! The brickwork pushed her away. trying to think, is there anything else I've covered? So I'm going a little rapid fire, because like I said, I know this game pretty well. I know all the FFs up to 9 pretty well. I don't even have a good reason why. It's not like I'm particularly invested in FF1 or 2 or 3. I was thinking about that when we were playing the Renaissance version. I know FF1 so well that I actually was walking into the Renaissance version with a lot of knowledge. So, first quest. What's up? Oh, hi. Right, because of course there's random enemies. In lore, the idea is that these are all, minions of the underworld and Hellspawn and fun stuff like that, but I like to think that they just, they didn't clean up. You know how sometimes you leave a few crumbs of, like, snacks or sweets on the ground and ants come in? Same general vibe. Yes, there are enemies in town. Don't worry, I'm sure it'll be fine. There's no reason for worrying. Be afraid. I just noticed one of my hotkeys is not working. One moment, please. Hang on. Sorry. Yep, there it is. Okay, so that should be here. Actually, no. Let's not do that. Let's do... Let's clear that. There we go. Put it up here. There we go. There we go. That should help a little bit. We're going to use that button a little bit. Actually, yes. So here's the really strange thing. I have to look up the exact formula, but you know how in FF1 there was a whole thing where enemies had a courage stat or something like that, or a fear stat's what they called it. And if you had more than certain such and such over that fear stat, then they would flee, right? Well, the thing is, in FF2, that stat still exists, but the formula for it is strange, because you don't have a level anymore. So I think it calculates your HP versus them. Anyways, let's talk to this NPC. Oh. Okay. This is fine. Everything's fine. Okay, so let's run. Okay, random's dead. Let's try to run one more time. Okay, and we're dead. There you go. Boom. So I knew that was going to happen, obviously. So lesson learned, don't talk to anybody in town. Cute game. If there's one word I had to describe FF2 with, it is the word troll. That's not me trolling. That's not me being a dick. This whole game feels somewhat mean-spirited to the player. My life for Findonia. Something, I don't know. And yeah, I really need to see this cussing, Mr. Ed. Where's my cussing goblins? I shouldn't give that away. Fast forward. Fast forward. Is it sad that I'm already at the point where I just want to fast forward most of the fights? Alright, so there's guards blocking all of the doors except for one, which is this one. Actually, hang on. Really quick. Where's these sound settings? Because There we go. Oh, it's not going to let me? I can mute it. That'll do. That'll do. Well, there's nothing here. See, a studious player would be like, well, I gotta interact with all this stuff. Unfortunately, there really is nothing here. No, no, that's okay. Mr. Red's got my back here. One of the things I really find funny is that someone who likes this game, I shall not name names, insists that there's no grind in this game. Which, every time I hear that, I just blank a little bit because it is such a nonsensical statement that I have problems processing it. Whoops. Hang on one second. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. By the way, every version after this version has something called a guaranteed health up. It's exactly what it sounds like. Every 10 encounters, you are guaranteed to get an HP up, even if your HP experience is not full. That's a really good feature in a game like this. Siranj Whisperer. Oh yeah, let's just feed that up. Because it's pretty easy to go fairly lengthy periods of time and not gain HP experience. If you don't understand why, well, think about it from this direction. Every time you successfully kill something, you're getting stronger and doing more damage. And every time you buff up your stats, you're getting higher and higher evasion. And I remind you, evasion is a very useful stat that you want a fairly large amount of. So it's very easy to reach a point where you are not taking a lot of damage and doing a lot of damage, so enemies die before they have a chance to actually do anything to you. Which means your HP doesn't go up. This is one of many things that make the leveling system very lopsided in this game. Again, in future versions of this game, they recognize that and we're like, okay, hold up here. let's fix this. And yeah, it turns into a bit of rocket tag. And yeah, if this all looks kind of grindy, I don't want to sound dismissive, but please remember that this is going to get so much worse. My favorite personal memory of this game is doing the lore run, during which I was using turbo cheats to have super maxed stats, and dying in the second to last dungeon, because the fricking Jade Passage is bullcrap. Oh, I do, Spartan. Whoa there, don't enter behind the counter. Why are these Imperial soldiers always so rough? Gumble, gumble. What does gumble mean? Oh, it's you! There's a passage behind this wall. A dying soldier is waiting inside. No, I know, Pillars. I was just like, I'm cheating! I was so shocked. Like, what? Oh my god. So let's get the very important thing. Some treasure here. 3 potions. Nice. Well, but surely I can stack potions, right? Surely the game would not force each individual potion to take up its own slot. That would be crazy, right? By the way, you probably haven't really noticed, but this is our inventory size. This is it. That is 32 inventory slots. If it looks like I haven't given a lot of negatives yet, that's because I'm just jotting down notes right now. Later on, I'm going to sit and think about how many negatives these deserve, because most of these issues are multi-negative issues. You gonna turn me over to the Empire? I'd rather die than live that fate. Oh, the rebellion! I'm Scott of the Kashuan dynasty. So you're Scott? Gordon told us you were captured by the Empire. Yeah. Yes, I won't last much longer. Please, answer a dying man's last request. Tell my brother Gordon he has splendid talent and have more pride in himself. Tell the King of Finn the reason Finn was taken was that Duke Borgin betrayed us. What a malevolent situation. He's now general for the Empire. As for... this is my favorite bit. As for Hilda, I love her. Wait, do not tell her that. So, I like to think that we go back to Hilda and are like, hey Hilda, so anyways, he didn't love you. She should forget about me. She deserves to fall in love again. Excuse me, but do you know my brother, Chaotic Danny? No. Take this ring. It was to be our engagement ring. I'm so tired. Let me rest now. Nothing there, because he's just vanished. He's gone. And don't worry, we won't see him again, ever, because we will never be playing a version of the game where he shows up again. And yeah, I don't actually know why they did it this way, Plutonia. I really don't. If I were to guess, I would say the inventory is keeping track of slot and item. And in other words, it's doing it the reverse of how it's usually done, or at least how I think it's usually done. In other words, rather than this is a potion, you have X potions there in this slot, it's this is slot 00. Slot 00 contains potion. And that's it. I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know this game that well. My Life for Gablonia? No, Spartan. That's... I am playing this game one more time after this, the Pixel Remaster version, and then I am never touching it again. I gotta say, with Fast Forward, this isn't too terrible. Is it? Huh. One second. Enjoy the music. Honestly, I'm more impressed by the save system than I thought I would be. Like, the fact that you can only save in the overworld is much bigger of a problem than it sounds. Especially later on. I mean, I like the Not Jade Passage as much as the next person. Although those first few levels are really bad. Notice our health hasn't really been going up. I'm gonna have to start punching myself. Nope, nope, I said I wouldn't. I did, I said I wouldn't. I'm going to not game the system. I'm going to do a normal playthrough. How's our money doing? Oh god, we only have 500 gil. And we're about to spend some of that. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay. Have we gotten, like, any stat-ups? Actually, yeah. We're at 37 experience on both sword and shield on random, which is pretty good. 37 there, too. What about her? 37, yeah, okay. Makes sense. It makes sense that it's exactly the same for each character. After all, it only tracks how many times you'd input. You cannot, Spartan. Don't worry about it, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It doesn't change the story in a substantial manner. It adds a post-game dungeon with some story relevance. Hang on. Does anything tell me what this ring is? Didn't think so. I need to start leveling Cure too. Yeah. Okay. Let's start refocusing a little bit. A few hours. Tracks. Yeah. Fast forwarding. If you are very efficient and know exactly what you're doing, it's not actually that hard to level in this game. But the problem is that know exactly what you're doing, I just mentioned. So I just had a fun thought, right? So I am currently de-invested, de-incentivized, one might say, to raise Guy's magic. That is to say, his mana. So his magic stat, his mana stat is MP. And his cure stat. You know why? Because doing that will reduce my health gains. Now, if you don't understand how bad that is, later on, we're going to want the ability to heal in combat. We're going to want that capacity. So I might just start curing. I'm just living with it. God, this game. It is such an experiment. I don't think so, Spartan. At least not by memory. I'm not saying I didn't, just that I don't remember doing so. Yeah, no, we're gonna go ahead and push Guy here to be our dedicated mage. Like, just straight up. In fact, I need to get a black spell for him, too. Int down! Power up! God damn it. 1 and 2. 1 and frickin' 2. I cannot believe that bug. Let's see if we can afford a spell, like fire would be nice. What's the opposite of synergy? That's a good question. Everyone chat, what's the opposite of synergizing? Oof. Fire, bolt, or ice? Well, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Poke ahead. Let's see. Our next boss... hang on. What is our next boss? There we go. Adamantoise, I believe. Yep, there he is. Boop. And he is weak to... anything? Nothing. He's weak to ice! What do you know? Sure, yeah, we'll do that. That's basically all my money, by the way. That's just nuked now. Destroyed by the Empire. Now, I don't mind this limitation as much, but if you notice, we also have a limited number of spells. 15. We can have 15 spells. Now, the good news, thank God, is you can actually delete a spell. If you couldn't delete a spell, that would be its own negative by itself, because it would be incredibly easy to build yourself into a corner. I should mention it is already easy to build yourself into a corner in this game. But, you know, more. Alright, let's go tell Hilda... Oops, hang on, wrong place to go. Let's go tell Hilda that, what's-his-face didn't love her. Also true, pillagers now. We'll talk about Ultima and how bad it is later. Oh yeah, let's show the ring. That ring, it's my brother's. What's happened to him? What's funny is there's a lot of misinformation. Maybe that's the wrong word. Let's call it conflicting information about the Ultima spell. We'll talk about it later. Don't worry. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We just finished our first quest. It's Scott's. Is he okay? He was at Finn. He gave it to us, and then he passed away. He also said he doesn't love you. I see. That ring, it was very special. Did he say anything to you? No, nothing. Please take the ring as a keepsake. No, you keep it. You're the only ones brave enough to help us now. Please, lend the rebel army your strength. We need strong warriors like you to retrieve the legendary ore Mithril to make better equipment for our army. Our equipment is no match for Finn's. Their armor is made from Mithril. They say Joseph, who lives in Salamando, knows where Mithril may be found. Please travel to Salamando. Talk to Min. He'll accompany you there. I'll offer you my service and my canoe. I like how you could say Wild Rose to Minwoo, and he's just like, huh? So, here's one of the other weird things they did in FF2. You may or may not have noticed that we only had a party of 3 this entire time. That's because the 4th slot is the rotating slot. I'm just going to spoil this for you now. We're going to have multiple characters just rotate in and out of that 4th slot throughout the course of the game. Up until and including the 3rd? Let's go with 2nd to last dungeon, where we'll get our final party member. But now we have Minwoo. Minwoo's, better than us, is how I'm going to describe this. So let's see. Cure, life, alright, sure. Peep, alright. Heal, alright. Barrier? I think that's magic defense. Blink is evasion. Safe is protect, I'm pretty sure. Well, no, but shell is magic defense. I don't know what barrier is then. I actually don't know what barrier does. Wall is reflect, dispel is obvious, mute. Anti, I don't know what that does. Fog, I have no idea what that does. Change, I don't know what that does. Fear, I don't know what that does. Barrier does berserk? But yes. Minwoo is our Jagan character. Barbarian with 2 R's. Thanks for the translation there. Whatever, I'll accept that. I'm not going to ding the translation because we're playing a fan translation, and that's kind of unfair. Yes, Barbarian. I legitimately don't know what some of these spells are. What the hell is anti, fog, change, and fear? I guess I can look this up. Hang on. Let's see if we can find this. Spells, here we go. Just pull up a list of spells. What we got? Okay, so barrier does what? Barrier grants elemental resistances granted in order based on number of successful casts. They are cumulative but do not stack. So first you get resistance to matter, that's physical damage, then fire, then mind, which is magic damage, then lightning, then death, then poison, and then body. I don't actually know what body is. So that's what barrier does. Let's see. So anti? Yeah, it's sap. It's a bleed. It's a dot. Fog, Okay, so fog does the exact same thing as silence. However, it is mind elemental instead of body elemental. There's a lot of redundant stat effects in this game, by the way. And then fear... I suppose that makes sense. Fear literally raises the fear value of the enemies, which increases their chance to run from you. And I already told you what change does. It's swap. Sure! Okay. Anyways, point being, he's our carry. Oh, he also has the exit spell. That's a very useful one. He's our carry. He is here to make sure that we survive long enough to do anything. Spoilers, he will be leaving the party soon, so hopefully any player who's playing this the first time has enough of a brain to not lean on him too hard. When Min was in the party is a perfect time to go ahead and just kind of endure. In fact, the best overall strategy right now is to... Whoops, hang on. Is to do a thing. I guess you can't in this version. Never mind. I was gonna say move Minwu to the highest thing and just let him tank for a bit. That's fine. We'll just put him in the back row. It doesn't matter. So now we can access water. Woo! Are there only 2 of us in the canoe? How about a ride to Poft? Am I going to Poft? I guess I am, technically. But it is funny how that's the first thing you see is, you want to go to Poft? Helm and Poft still get attacked. Yeah. See, Poft, Bofsk, and Salamanda will be taken by the Empire soon. Yeah, fun fact, despite the fact that the evil Empire is expanding right now, they've only taken like 2 cities. How about it, babe? Sleaze. Guess we got the Minwu canoe. I see our weapon choices have not improved yet. Oh yeah, I should probably mention something else that will be getting a negative in this game. So, there are fists, shields, daggers, maces, spears, swords, axes, and bows. These weapons are not equal. And so, it is relatively easy to go fairly lengthy periods of time without actually getting a new upgrade for your gear, because you get something that your stat isn't there for. So you have 2 choices. You don't equip the new weapon that's better because you don't, have the thing to interact with it. Or you equip it and then your skill with it is jack, which lowers your hit chance and your chance to do damage. Or the damage you do, excuse me. I don't know why I said chance to do damage. It lowers your chance to do damage after you have a chance to hit. But this game is brain-breaking. I don't know what you want from me. Blink is just as overpowered as it was back in FF1, by the way. It is extremely easy. Oh God, affinity. I forgot all about affinities. Blink basically maxes out your evasion for a given battle. And that is exactly as overpowered as that sounds. Sure, Rex. Best weapon in the game is a sword, of course, because it always is. Blink increases your evasion stat for a given fight, so you just kind of don't get hit for that fight. It is possible to grind yourself out of most problems in this game. The catch is there is an asterisk to that. So, in most games, if you need to grind, if you're behind, you just run around in a circle wherever you are, right? You just say, okay, I'm just going to grind up here because I am behind. That's not as feasible in this game because of the fact that leveling doesn't care about what you're fighting when you level. And because of the fact that enemies are designed to be pretty brutal and the difficulty curve is pretty harsh, what that means is that is easiest and most efficient to level off of things that are weaker than you. Because you get the exact same amount of experience from them, right? It's not actually the exact amount. I mentioned this earlier, but it is mostly the same amount. Because they are... It's actually because of solid push-ups. That's literally the reason. So, what you want... Let's go ahead and... I need to have him just casting every round now. So what you want is you want to go to something earlier than you are. Maybe not all the way to the beginning of the game, but definitely something weaker than what you currently are. Grind up on that, and then go fight stuff that's actually at your level. Now, the problem here is there's several parts of the game. You don't get an airship for very long, or until pretty far into the game is what I mean. It takes a hot minute. So you... Let's go ahead and start casting ice, because we're going to need that soon. I should give that a negative when we get there. At some points, it's... I don't want to say impossible, but very frustrating to get out of a particular spot to go level, right? Like, you're way over here, and you're like, oh god, I'm over-leveled, and I just got this new gear that I can't really use. I'll just backtrack, and you go back, and then you go back, and then you go back, and then you go back, and you get it, right? It's a whole thing. Welcome to Poft. Salamando lies to the north. Bofsk to the east. Is it Bafsk? Oh, whatever. Doesn't matter. Sid lives here. Have you seen the airship? Oh yeah, this is our first Sid in the franchise. Amusingly enough, this Sid is not really a character to any real extent. He's the guy who runs the airship ferry, and that's it. That's the full and total extent of his character. It is FF3 that'll make Sid a character, and then start the trend of having a Sid in every FF. Bofs to the east is occupied by the Empire. Something terrible is being built there. We'll learn about the airship. Oh. No, hang on. Want to ride on the world's only airship? We can take you to faraway places. That'll cost you. So yeah, you can spend a fairly large amount of money in order to basically teleport to a spot. It is expensive as hell, and you're stuck there because it's a one-way trip. One of the first times I played this game, I think it was my actual first time playing the NES version, I was like, oh sure, I'll teleport to such and such, see what's over there, and then I was stuck there. Then I died. Bofsk, to the east, is occupied by the Empire. You just said that. Stop repeating yourself. God, man. Bofsk, to the east, is occupied by the Empire. Something terrible is being built there. Oh no, tell me more. Is there a place to the east being built by the terrible Empire? In Bafsk? It should be Bofsk. No, it's Bafsk. 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 Wow, every single person here who isn't Sid says the same frickin' thing. Thank you, Race Cat. Very much appreciate the sub. Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna walk up to Salamando because I need experience and money. I really need money. Not in real life. Don't do that. Okay. Let me write that down real quick. Yeah, don't you know, once you join a naval corps and become a sailor, you join the hive mind. There are chocobos in this game. No moogles. So there were going to be, and then there weren't. So that's going towards Jedi Survivor, East Shade, and 007 First Light. You got it. Is this game short? That's an interesting question. And that's going to be my response to that. So we really want to be leveling ice. Like, we really actively want to be leveling ice. Flashing lights warning. Notice we have officially hit Tier 2 enemies, by the way, which we can no longer one-shot with our current setup. it out. That enemy, which took us multiple hits to kill, gave us 3 gold. Hang on. I'm sorry, TMA push-ups. What's BTS in this case? That's... would you believe I've never looked into it? I'm pretty sure I looked up a little bit for the lore run, but it was only a little. And whatever it was didn't stick with me, because I don't remember it right now. Oh my god! And he hit me for 31, and then I managed to get evade off. Honestly, probably closest now. What's funny is, it is a bug. Like, they fixed that bug in every game after this version. The PS1 and the GBA version both fixed it, so like, huh? Okay, well, guy's dead. By the way, we're doing 2 damage to this dude. How much health does this guy have? Hang on, hang on. I've got a list of enemies here. Let's back up a second. How much health does Soldier have? Where is it? I don't see it. There it is. He's only got 45 health. He's got pretty low evasion, interestingly enough. Yeah, okay, this is just, he's not even that high level. He's just higher level than me. Remember, there's no grind in this game. I hate to lean on Minwoo's healing. I think I have to here. Remember, he's going to be targeting Guy constantly because of that bug. Oh yeah, by the way, just as in FF1, crits completely ignore most of the damage formula. Crits just do damage. Regardless of their defenses, or evasion, or anything else. It just hits. 0 gil! 0! Thanks, game! All men from Salamendo were forced to mine mithril at the cave behind the semi-waterfall. Yeah, I saw the agility up. I'm legitimately shocked that we just got an agility up. We must have been getting absolutely insane luck to have an agility up. I'm in love with Joseph, but I only get in his way. Okay, that's a little presumptive, but whatever. Hey, Joseph. Are you from the Empire? Yes. Mithril still hasn't been recovered from the semi-cave. All the townsmen are slaved there. You must help us. Also, you were hired by Hilda? Youngsters like you? Oh, man. Wow. Look, we take what we can get, right? Well, those are some good spells, and we definitely want the exit spell, but we're nowhere on that. Do we have money? We do. So we can heal at least. That's about a... What was that, a fourth of our money to do that? So we've got our next quest. That's to save the game. Okay, there we go. So the game doesn't really give a lot of direction at this point, interestingly enough. Meanwhile, Green Goblin's just hanging out here for some reason. I don't know. Don't ask me. Wow, the bow is starting to hit at all. I haven't seen the trailer yet. Is it any good? I'm just curious, because, like, one more day is, like, I just have negative interest in that story arc. Like, who would want a movie based on that? But obviously they gotta be doing something with it, right? So... That's the one with Punisher, right? Man Spider. Are you okay there, Sid? Being drunk. I mean, if it's not based on that, then good. Honestly. Forward. And yeah, I don't know what's to add to that. Hey, Reggie. Yeah, that's the one, Mad Overlord. Also known as the "it was a terrible idea from the word go" to do this storyline. Well, that's a choice. I mean, it has to be better than Morbius, right? Madam Web. God, do not watch Madam Web. It's not even, like, funny to make fun of funny. It's just, what is this nonsense? So I'm pretty sure... well... of course there's a soldier here. Why wouldn't there be? Yeah, Madam Web is so bad it's bad. That is the perfect way to put that. No, GMS had nothing to do with that push-ups. It was, God, I don't remember his name. I can see his picture in my head. Some idiot working at Marvel insisted that nobody could ever possibly relate to a Peter Parker who is a settled individual who's married and with children, and therefore the only possible way to go forward with the character is to reboot him. And so they came up with the dumbest possible way to reboot him they could come up with. Meanwhile, Master Mage Guy here just nuking this thing by himself. Jesus. Hey, magic power-up. Woo! Ah, okay. That's what I thought. I was pretty sure. Kusada. That's him. Joe Kusada. Idiot. Like, I'm sorry. I don't mean... I usually am not that unkind, but... Idiot. For those of you not aware, I'll go ahead and spoil the storyline. It's a pretty old storyline and nobody cares. But in the off chance you don't want to hear the spoilers, mute me for a minute. So, Aunt May is dying, and no one can save her. And he goes around, he asks everyone, nobody can save her. Nobody can save Aunt May. She's beyond all help. And Parker's like, no, I can't lose Aunt May. So he goes to talk to the devil. No, you heard me. And says, hey, let's make a deal. And the devil says, sure. You give up something, and I'll go ahead and reset the board, and you'll get Aunt May back. Yeah, by the way, this is a very old Aunt May. She is probably dying of old age, more than anything else. So yeah, he goes there, gets the deal with Mephisto, and everything goes to hell. And Mephisto reveals that the sacrifice that he cost him is he essentially made sure that Parker's unborn child would never be born. Which is exactly as messed up as it sounds. Although not as messed up as the time when Parker was lamenting the fact that he was giving cancer to Mary Jane by having sex with her. That's a real thing. You can look it up. I don't recommend you do so. Jesus, Damashi. It's not as bad on the story axis as I thought. There we go. But yeah, so the status quo has changed, and the timeline is rewound a little bit, but Mary Jane, sorry. Mary Jane and Pete Parker split up. Amusingly enough, despite this all being about Aunt May, she's still pretty old. Which I just find amusing. And there's a few other changes that they did while they were there. It's basically like, all right, what kind of retcons do we want to do? And they just kind of baked it together into a list. But even ignoring how dumb it sounds, some good stories sound really dumb when you say them out loud. Let me be clear, this was a dumb story. There's a reason it's been held with such derision for decades. By the way, just to get across something, after all that running around in an area that's actually pretty high level for me, I don't know if you caught that, but I am up 30 gil. 34 gil, to be precise. Yeah, it is one of the worst Spider-Man stories ever. And I'm including the infamous Clone Saga in that. If Blue One wants to ask something, they need to show up themselves. But, amusingly enough, yes, I am. I mean, the Clone Saga is a little bit more understandable, because the Clone Saga was a mistake. So, for those of you not aware, I'm not going to give you the full breakdown of the Clone Saga. They had this thing, Parker gets cloned, Parker's clone is his own character, everything's cool, both the characters are cool, Parker's going to retire the uniform and let the clone do the thing, natural conclusion point, everything's great, the story kept going for 2 more years. Because the problem was, behind the scenes, the people in charge were like, well, you can't conclude the Clone Saga right now, you got to keep going with it. And they're like, why? Well, you got to keep going with it! Why? And no good reason was ever proffered, because, spoilers, they didn't have a good reason. So, the Clone Saga was delayed, and delayed, and delayed, and delayed. And what's really frustrating is if you've ever actually sat down and read the Clone Saga, it's actually really good up to a certain point. And then it gets bad. And then it gets worse. And And that's kind of the funny thing, is it really does just... It hits a sunshine point, actually. Where it just kind of goes... And you really shouldn't just watch from that point onwards. Alright, so you'll notice the game isn't telling me anything about where to go next. Have you caught that? I was kind of roaming around interested because the natural flow of the game kind of indicated going, you know, up left, and I can't go that way. Of course it did, Zactef. Status quo! At least we're getting some magic skill for Guy. That's something. That's a good question, Walker. What do you think we're supposed to do at this point? I'm not being facetious. Like, what do you think the next step is? I'll give you a hint. As of this moment in time, we can walk to almost the entire world. So we can go literally anywhere. We even have access to the airship, which can fly us to places we can't possibly walk to normally. Thank you, Pillars of Snow. I appreciate you. Well, there's a waterfall, but we can't seem to go up the waterfall. The last story thing we did was we talked to Joseph, who was complaining about the miners being enslaved in the cave. Didn't say where that cave was. Nothing about it whatsoever. Free the miners. Good idea. Hey, Canex Cow, where are the miners? You see my point here? Ask Matoya. Yeah, seriously. I noticed select B doesn't work this time around, so... I swore it did. I swore there was a map, but I'm apparently an idiot, because I couldn't figure out how to get it to work. Yeah, Min was just like, what? White mage! Yeah! And that's just Minwo over there. Oh my god, Valerian, not you too. God damn it, man. Why? Why? You could prove it. Speaking of, I should jot down some more negatives. Thank you for reminding me. Valerian's gonna be like, I don't know, you suck. That's true, there is a plot. I cannot actually argue that. Believe it or not, I'm not sure Golden Ratio. I was actually just thinking the same thing. I'm not sure. We're still at Ice 1. But yes, there is a plot. It's not much of one. Oh god, spider carnage. Yep, the Empire's evil. And employing literal demons. Literal demons. From hell. It's okay, in the book, it's actually worse than that. In the book, Emperor Mateus is actually possessed by the devil. And it's not the Castlevania devil. So this guy actually has some teeth. You want to know a random-ass character from the Clone Saga that I actually like? And it's entirely because he looks cool. In fact, when I say his name, you'll probably understand exactly what I mean. Doppelganger. I've got a thing for the forearms look. It's the same reason Goro caught my attention over Mortal Kombat. He just looks cool. I don't think they ever did anything with Doppelganger, like, narratively, but he looks cool. And that's just kind of stuck with me for years. Have they ever brought him back? Or done anything with him? Real question. I don't actually know the answer to this. Oh my god, what is their evasion chance? The next game is FF11. I'll just tell you that right now. I should probably update that. So, I will get there when I get there. Exactly when I defeat my niece once and for all. Oh, well, I guess I can't defeat you then. There is a chance, hello cuties, that I will not actually beat this game before I gotta go. It's a chance.
Can I watch while you do it?
Why are you such a mess? What did you do? What did you do?
I was eating ice cream.
I can tell you were eating ice cream. Here, come here, come here. Let's get like a little bit of this, okay? No, no, it's okay, just a bit. I just want to get your chin, okay? Is that okay? Okay, thank you. Whoosh, whoosh, and we're good. See, that's it.
It smells bad.
I know, it smells like alcohol because that is an alcohol wipe. So, what do we got? We've got Fat Cat. We've got Doom Cat. We've got Omega Cat. And I don't know who this one is.
It's Battle Wolf.
Oh, hello, Wolf. Hi.
It's Battle Wolf.
Well, I know where Wolf likes to be. There we go. How's
It's
that?
Battle Wolf. Its name is Battle Wolf.
Battle Wolf?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the strongest out of all of them.
He is very strong. Whoop, whoop, hang on.
These are very cute.
They are very cute. I
This
can't
one's
look at it.
very mean to the others.
No, don't be mean. Why would you be mean? Don't be mean. Yeah, we'll be nice to you too. It's okay. We'll give you hugs.
This one is literally just sitting.
Hello.
It's so funny. So
Careful.
right here.
Careful.
It's so cute.
It is very cute. Cannot darn you.
It wants
Wait,
to look.
careful, careful. Please be careful. You've already destroyed so much. Your power is immeasurable.
Yeah, that one's powers. But that wolf is literally so powerful.
It is. It's insane.
Everything powers.
Oh my gosh. But that means I have everything powers now.
Powers.
I'm going to use my ice cream powers. And
I'm
then...
gonna give the ice cream to this one.
Okay. That sounds like a good idea. And then how about... what else can we make other than ice cream?
A power source.
A power source?
Yeah.
Got it. I'll call it Magicite. There you go.
So everyone can have power.
Exactly. We will democratize power.
This one's literally so fast. And when it runs over people, they die.
Oh, yeah. Let's get this sticker off his fur. That'll probably help. There you go.
Yeah. That's actually ice cream.
Okay.
It melted on him.
I gotta get back to work.
Keep all these cats, but keep
Okay.
that one in there.
Here.
Because
Put
it's
that one
been
there.
so mean.
That one there. Could you close the door, please? Thank you.
I have to know you so
Okay. In case you missed that, she said she needs to know that I'm real. So she needs to leave the door open just to verify that I am, in fact, real. You know, I could just do this. I have the power. You know what? You got a point, DZ Maven. I hadn't thought about that. And then we can do this to kind of watch our health for a second. Yep, okay, we're good. This is a grind right here. Oh, so, hey, look, check it out. Here's our location. There's actually another way to reach here, by the way. Not that you know that. And of course, we don't have tents at this point in time. In fact, we barely have any healing whatsoever. So let's go ahead and do a little of that. So you may or may not have noticed, we actually do gain some experience for spells out of battle, which is good. It is not a lot, I'm not going to lie, but I'm glad that that's there. Oh, hey, guy's up to 100 health. Nice. We are extremely low on that. Character assassination, it depends on how bad it is, Damashi. As with most things. Generally speaking, however, character assassination is always a bare minimum of a single negative, right? Like... Picard Season 2, you know? if you know, you know. So I gotta save mana. I just realized I have to save my MP here. In fact, what I should probably do is I should probably go back to town and hit the inn again. Because I want to walk into this with full MP, which is really frustrating, because I also want to level my magic. Okay. Hang on. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and try to level Ice, at least to Ice 2. I haven't done any of it yet, Mr. Red. One of our co-op partners hasn't been available for the co-oping. Let's just do this. Let's keep using ice. Alright, let's leave. I can't believe I'm doing this. I hate this game. I hate this game so much. So this is the faster way to get here. It's actually a higher level zone for enemies, but it's whatever. They'll give the same freaking gil. It's not like it matters. So let's just do... this. Go, just kind of, there we go. Just kind of remove that from the path there. It is hard to hold my head this steady. Oh man, having to play the original FF1 on the NES, that would be terrible. We came close. Close enough to review it. Hang on a sec. See, the problem is axes are kind of crap, but I don't really want to be using him to attack anyways. I could set him up with a spear maybe, but that's going to be expensive as hell. Can I even afford that? No. I can't even afford a sword. I can't even afford a sword. Okay, no, I do have an alternative option. I really do. I can afford a shield. Let's go ahead and buy a shield. Let's get rid of the axe. Hang on. There we go. Okay. And let's just go ahead and, do that. I'm tempted to set her up with a shield as well, but I kind of want to see what I can do with bow this playthrough, because I almost never mess around with bows, because bows suck. And he's still just on his thing. Okay. We have mana. We have stuff. Where's your magic at? Oh my god, ice is only halfway to a level. You know, highlight would probably be less painful than this. You know why? It's shorter. A lot shorter. FF2 is not exactly what you'd call an exceptionally long game, but we're still trying to reach the first dungeon. To put that into perspective. Like, our goal right now is to get to the equivalent of the Marsh Cave. It's okay, it's not as bad as the Marsh Cave. God, the Marsh Cave is such a terrible first dungeon. And just dungeon in general, really. Alright, let's level cure a little bit here. Nope, nope. Fair enough. 2 mana for a little bit of experience, I think, is worth the expenditure. Okay. By the way, I am going to give the first boss of this dungeon, that is to say, the first boss of the game, a negative. Can anyone guess what that negative is? If you said it's a terrible boss fight, you're correct. So, the first boss is the Adamantoise. It's got a decent chunk of health and way too much defense. A normal playthrough might have started using magic. Maybe. That's not something that's guaranteed, because nothing really pushes you towards that. I'm not a fan of the boss theme, but we'll see what the end... I don't remember what the NES version sounds like, so we'll see when we get there. Anyway, so, it's a wall. It's a difficulty wall. I know several people have reached this boss and just fallen over and been like, what? He's weak to ice, which I know. That's why I got the ice spell. So that's neat, I guess. As I say, name a bad song in the Pixar. You know what the best thing I could say about the Pixar Remaster soundtracks is? It took FF3's music, made it good. Now, let me defend myself a little bit there. Before you kill me. Please don't kill me, Blair. I know you want to, and I know I deserve it. FF3 has several really good songs on it. Like, really, actually solid stuff. And then there's the other songs, which most people don't even remember from 3. It's all the weird, silly songs, right? There's just these kind of bizarre songs, because Uematsu, as is his wont, was designing the songs for the scenes. The 4 other... Yeah, exactly. So it was kind of, huh? And there's a lot of, huh? In the soundtrack for FF3. FF3 PR took a lot of the, huh? Songs and actually made them decent. And that is more impressive than it sounds. In fact, here, since I have it right here, because, like, everyone likes this song, right? Like, I don't mean to be dismissive, but this is good in the original, in the NES version. But then you have, like... And I know what you're thinking. This sounds perfectly fine. And you're right. It is. That's my point. Have you heard the original version of this song? Or the DS version? And I don't mean to be unkind, but the DS version of these songs kinda suck. This is my point. It takes the random-ass songs from FF3 and makes them good. Like this one. Here's another one. I'm ready, Valerian. Yes, I do hate myself. Why do you ask? Wait, what do you mean all the time? Ramon's Walker. I getcha. 10. 10 gil. What? That's a chest in a dungeon that, by the way, is kicking my ass. Yeah, let me jot down the first of several negatives here for economy and itemization. It is not great in the NES version. Speaking of someone who's played the GBA version a lot more than this, the gold economy is fine in the GBA version. And yeah, Pillager's Note is correct. I think they literally just added a 0 to every gil thing in like every version from the PS1 onwards. So I see your point, Valerian. Because FF11 is its own FF, from what I understand. Whereas FF14 is a reimagining of the FFs. And interestingly enough, I do like both for the same reasons that Pillager's Note just mentioned. I like their takes on a lot of the things they do. Yeah, exactly, Rex. I could have actually bought some gear by now. And more magic. By the way, I just want to say, Guy is hard carrying. I don't know if you're catching that. I know this is extremely boring and we're just chatting about unrelated stuff. That's going to be like the next couple of days, by the way. Just chatting about unrelated stuff. Well, we're super bored. But no, Guy is like carrying so hard here, which I find hysterical. Because I think in literally every playthrough of this game I've ever done, Guy has been my carry. If I wanted to be risky, I could probably boost Maria's health a little bit. But I don't know how the system works. So I can't game the system. I'm being serious. I kind of don't want to game the system unless I really start running into a wall on that. Like, at most, I might move her to the front row so she gets attacked more. That's like a normal thing to do, right? True, Valerian. Listen. In fact, actually, let's just do this for a minute, because this is gonna suck, and we're done. Yes, Valerian. It's actually both. For different reasons. It's just, it is so easy to build yourself in a corner of this game. It's almost funny. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and push her to the front row. Because that does feel like something I would do. Just in a normal playthrough. Like, surely I would notice by now that she is just not gaining health. In fact, I actually think her health hasn't gone up at all. Whereas Furian's and Guy's obviously has gone up quite a bit. Let's fast forward a little bit. Those two goblins gave me 75 gold. What? $200 gold. Whoa! I can afford an antidote. It's not a joke. Your Fallen Homeland. Man, they were loaded. Ooh, okay, hang on. Furion almost died there. We're also going to be playing a lot of other FF music because NES music gets old. Is the simplest way. Oh no. Okay. All right. No, golden ratio. They wouldn't be invented until I think 3. I think. But I know you can't buy them in 3. It was 4 was the first one you could buy a life item. That's true. FF2 does have an AoE res, which is hysterical and almost feels like an oversight instead of a deliberate thing. Not a dig, just it does, right? Like it feels like they were like every spell can be AoE'd, so it's easier to code that way. Jesus, please stop killing Maria. Okay, I need you to live, Maria, so you can get the health, the thing. Please. And I need Guy to keep killing that soldier, so Minwu, could you make her live, please? Like, I know she needs health, but damn it. She needs health, Rex! But yes, Valerian is correct. Every version, literally every version after this, from PS1 onwards, included a bad luck protection, where every 10 encounters gained HP. And honestly, while that is better, and it is, I actually think it's still not really enough. Because the problem is you're not going to be gaining any stamina, and the amount of HP you gain and HP gain is based on your stamina stat. You need to be raising your stamina. How do you raise your stamina? You take damage. It's the exact same way you raise your HP. It's supposed to be a snowball stat. It's supposed to be, you gain HP by taking damage, and you gain stamina by taking damage, and as your stamina goes up, your HP gain goes up. So you get more and more and more and more HP, and it just escalates. That's the intent. Problem is, it doesn't work that way. Oh, hey, garlic. I don't even remember what that is. Yeah, by the way, did you catch that? Because we didn't get any HP from Maria, probably because I healed her to full. You're paying attention. So it looked at her health and said, nope, she didn't take any damage. Am I on the second floor? I think I am. Oh my god. Okay. You know what? Yeah, hang on. So here's what we're gonna do. Attack yourself really quick, Maria. just really quick. And let's do, I think it's safe. What, Rex? Oh, she took damage. She took damage. Yes. I could technically put her back in the back row and attack her, but once again, I don't know that system works that way. I mean, why wouldn't she? She's... God damn it. I'm just burning through so much of my... I'm almost halfway through my mana. I haven't even reached the boss yet. We should be fine? Knock, knock, knock. Whatever, just attack. Well, I'm pretty sure you're right, Rex. Sorry, I was saying something to Blarian. I get the uniqueness factor. I do. You know, unique games are interesting and they kind of stick with us. And this was like the beginning of the Saga franchise and that whole concept. It has been argued, although I do not know the validity of this, that the Elder Scrolls Use It to Level It system came from the Saga series, which obviously predates all that by several years. Please die, random soldier. You'll never beat me! You'll never defeat Galbadia. You were all no! No! Oh, okay, hang on. Okay, hang on. No, I can make this work. I can make this work, hang on. I have invested so much into raising her health. This is not happening. Okay. Minwoo went first, that's good. Okay, we're good, we're good. That was really lucky. Hey! Her stamina and her health went up. Holy God. Alright, here it is, here it is. Check it out. 32 health. The music says it all. Oh. 7 health out of that. Yeah, no. She will gain 8 health the next time she gains a health up. Out of curiosity, so she's at 8 stamina. He's at 21. So Guy gets 21 health every time he levels his health. Furion gets 16. Oh my god, enough with the frickin' Imperial soldiers. These are the devil. Alright, Maria, attack yourself. Why? Just trust me. This is important. So her initial stats lean very much towards her having a very low HP gain. So yeah, it's the girl tax. The game wants you to turn her into your caster. I will be honest, in most playthroughs I tend to turn her into caster because she's already just kind of leaning that direction. Guy's supposed to be the big dumb heavy. It's just by coincidence he happens to be a really good caster. See what I mean, though? Like, the Pixel Remaster really touches up a lot of these songs. Listen to this. So she's up to 40. Like I said, she got 8. Well, you see, Roxy... I have no idea. Don't ask me. Still at 8 vitality, though. God, I just noticed her hit chance with her freaking bow is 56. And for the record, that's terrible. Furion's is 72. Guy's is 15. What's Minwoo's? 82. Jesus Christ. I mean... here it is. Here it is. Yes! I've been waiting. It's so great. I'm so happy. So I mentioned earlier that the targeting thing is not the worst part of the game. The leveling isn't the worst part of the game. You know what the actual objective worst part of this game is? So there's a concept in FF1 that's so rare that I suppose that's fair. I did tell them not to join us. It's so rare that I actually have trouble even thinking of other games that do this. It's called a troll room. Almost every dungeon in the entire game has troll rooms. Some of them much worse than others. Let's showcase what a troll room is really quick. So it's not going to be the far left or the far right. So we'll go to the far left. Oh my god, it was the far left. Holy crap. Okay, hang on. Let's go over here. So this is a troll room. Now, the way troll rooms work is very specific. Almost every troll room in the game leads to the same general concept, which is a big... It's the exact same graphic, right? It's just the empty square, and that's it. There's nothing in here. The encounter rate in troll rooms is higher than usual. And you always enter the room in the middle of the room. What this means is going into a troll room doesn't just waste your time because there's nothing in here, but you are very... I cannot believe I'm not getting an encounter. You are very likely to get an encounter in a troll room. It is there to troll you. And that's it. That's its point and purpose. Now, I went into all four of those. There you go. Look at that. That was 2 steps to get... Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Run. 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 Yeah, they are they, Mr. Red. Sorry. Oh, thank you, God. Okay. Anyways, I wanted to show off all 4 of those rooms to really get across the point. Because 25% of the path was something, and the other 75% of the options were literally nothing. Actually, worse than nothing. It is trolling. Like I said, the whole game is very trolly. They will never stop doing troll rooms. Like, they're in every dungeon... I shouldn't say. They're in almost every dungeon in the game. These buttons. Yes, trolley as opposed to trolley. Big difference. Actually, I wonder. Guy, can you hit Maria? Whoa! Okay, yeah, he can do almost half her health with a punch. I thought his punch was terrible. You know, she's doing like 7 damage to these things. God, can you suck less? You know what? One might even say that FF2 has the trolley dilemma. This joke was Evo's, not mine. I don't get credit for it. And yes, these are designed to be awful. They're troll rooms. They are designed to kill you. Having gotchas and traps in game design is not exactly anything new. Troll rooms are terrible. I don't really have another way to phrase it. If it was done in, like, one specific dungeon as, like, a gimmick, or maybe it was done in a dungeon and you get, like, some items for going in the troll room, or maybe, like, there's some kind of risk-reward thing. You know, like I could see this working, but it really is just spitting in the face of the player, and that's it. Screw you. The end. Yeah, at least give me a freaking Mimic chest which has something in it. You remember Super Mario RPG? Everyone in chat, what's Super Mario RPG? There's actually several Mimic chests in that, which are very similar to gotchas, except every single one of them is very close to a save point. Which, A, good. And B, if you can defeat them, which good freaking luck, by the way, but if you can, the reward is usually quite lucrative. That's a good thing. Let's buff her. And let's do this for a minute. Yeah, defeating them is not easy. Most of my playthroughs, I don't bother defeating the mimic chests because they are mean. That thing, that chest just gave me 50 gold. Look, there's a whole. That's just okay. Man, I should probably heal her. Getting really low on health. Oh yeah, no, they crush. You pretty much have to be set up for the boss fight walking into it. Now, the cool part is you can come back to it later when you're higher level and better equipped and prepared. Alright, real quick, 1 through 3. Which one? I personally dislike troll rooms more than monster closets. I think it's partially because I've just seen so many. Damn it! Kiddix cow, no! Okay, let's follow Walker's suggestion. Because I've seen monster closets done decently. Like, again, I don't want to oversell, but at least they don't turbo suck. By the way, real quick, if I die here, my latest save is outside. Now, I know you're like, well, yeah, Lord, but no, really think about that for a second. Think about how much this dungeon has been absolutely shrekking my asshole. And this is the first dungeon in the game. And now remember that every dungeon in the game is going to be like that. Mithril, Wild Rose, Airship. Save me. Save me. Look, what Shrek is doing to my butt is not something you want to learn about, but trust me, it's not pleasant. This child is Joseph's daughter. Borgin was holding her hostage. The mithril is somewhere deeper in the cave, but I couldn't find it. I'll help the slaves escape. Okay, they're gone now, I guess. Okay, cool. Now, fun fact, I could turn around right here. In fact, it might even be smart to do so. And then I'd have to do the first half of the dungeon again. But, you know, at least I could come back in and be ready to go for the second half, right? Surely I've gotten a little bit stronger. I mean, look, Maria's gotten 24 health. Ever since I started having her attack herself. I should stop doing that. I am gaming the system by doing that. There's a good song. Like I said, there's some bangers in FF3. And then there's something else. Oh my god, she just took over half her health in damage in a single strike. I'm amused at how Furion is one of my biggest damage dealers outside of magic, considering the fact that his hit chance is so bad and his weapon skill is not great. He can consistently do 14 damage to a soldier, and that is more impressive than that probably sounds. Minwu is doing no damage at all. Like, literally none. Okay. The goblin fell. This is it. This is it. I'm feeling the... okay, Ryokami's dead. Okay. That's interesting that happened. Sure. Let's do that. Sure, whatever. Could you life her, please? Please don't kill. Please don't kill. No! He did 3 damage! God damn it! I gotta be honest, if the life spell did not exist, this is probably why they give us Minwu. If we didn't have the life spell in Minwu with his gargantuan pile of mana, this dungeon would probably be much more miserable than it actually is. Oh my god. Am I going this way? I think I'm going this way. Actually turned around right now. Ah! No. 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 That is an interesting title for that clip, Mr. Red. Oh my god. No, I'm just gonna let this play, whatever. No, I backtracked. God damn it, I backtracked on accident. Urgh. This freaking dungeon. Fire spell. Oh, you know what? Actually, I'll take it. And I will immediately use it on... So I'm thinking long term, right? And I'm thinking of, like, I know what I'm going to do with Guy long term. I know what I'm going to do with Furion long term. I don't have a plan for Maria. Her chance to hit is garbage. Her bow skill is up to 2 now, and well on its way to 3. Her stats are just not there. So I could stick with trying to push bow to the point where it's actually going to be worth a damn. I'm going to get the Yoichi or whatever it's called in this version. Or I could turn her into a mage like I always do. Jesus Christ, Damashi. Let's stick with the bow. Well, I guess I could... See, part of the problem, too, is I'm gonna want more mana on kind of everyone at some point. In fact, at some point in time, I'm gonna get Cure on everyone so they can all just kind of have that. Cure, Life, and Exit. I mean, if you count the fan patch, Valerian, that's probably the best bet there. Ask Rax, she'll know the specifics. Yeah, no, exactly, golden ratio. That's why I'm like, I think we will go ahead and put this on Guy for now, because it's a black spell. Black is my soul. Ugh. I could try to take these guys out. Let's see how bad this goes. How bad could it possibly be? For no reason, we're gonna shell our entire party. You know how bad this dungeon is? I'm actually draining Minwu's mana. That's how much of a drain on my resources this dungeon has been. They do. They're just like, heh heh, we're gonna get you. I really need ice to level up. I'm still casting Ice 1 if you didn't catch that. And I've been using it for a hot minute. At least Guy's mana has been going up, so I've got some kind of a buffer there. Yep. Okay, so... yeah, so believe it or not, the bombs explode. I know, shocking. Hey, Ross. How's your day going? Because I'm dying to random trash in the best game in the world. Let's do this and hope. Okay, we're actually doing pretty good. I think we got some lucky rolls there. No, what it was his parents were very uncreative, Cashel. Or stupid? Maybe stupid. Oh! We got an HP up on Rai. On Maria. I keep forgetting. This is why I shouldn't rename characters. Look at that. Check it out. 59! 59 health! we got some gil. As a reminder, if I die at any point in time, I have to redo all of this. I have lost all progress. Just as a reminder. I can afford one spell right now if I went back to town at this point in time. One good spell. I would buy Exit or Life or something like that. Oh, come on! Go away. Troll room! Okay, up, right, or down? What do y'all think? I don't know. So I'm not clowning or whatever. The Walker says down. We immediately get an encounter. It's okay. It's just Goblonians. Okay, down was nothing. Alright, let's go up. Okay. This sucks. Alright. Yeah, I'm going to be adding some time. I've got a counter going in the background, which is tracking the actual game time to keep fast-forwarding. So this run's technically going to be longer than it looks, because it's going to account for the fast-forward. Or whether it's going to... You know what I mean. I'm going to bypass the fast-forward. Yeah, everyone talks about how FF9's combat is slow. I think the NES game's got that beat. You don't like the music push-ups? Okay. I'll let the music end in about 34 seconds. It's the final boss music from FF3. Wow, that was actually an extremely lucky thing. Oh, wait, our evasion's getting there. Which FF has the slowest summons? 8. 8. So, FF's 3, which is when they invented summoning, through 7, all have unskippable cutscenes for the summons, right? Here's the catch. Here's the thing, right? Most of those summons are pretty short. Even the one that's infamous for being long in FF7 is only, I think it's like 80 seconds or something like that, which is a long time, to be clear. But it's the one summon that's 80 seconds. Then you get to 8. And 8 is also unskippable and much longer. And almost every summon in 8 is pretty long. Now, there's a reason for that. There's a mechanic in FF8 where you're supposed to... You actually can learn an ability on each summon. And that ability gives you the chance... No, stand-ups. To boost, which increases the damage of the actual thing. If you... There's a whole little, like, mini-game. Whoop, no, don't do that. There's a whole mini-game for inputting as you're doing it, right? So that you want them to take a while so that you can boost their damage as high as possible. But the problem is, A, that's mostly unnecessary, and B, it still means the summons are absolutely freaking long. You notice our evasion is starting to kick in already, by the way. Have you noticed that? Especially on Guy, who is starting to get to the point where he's not getting HP up because he's evading so much. Ooh, yes, please, Blows of Snow. What would I play? Deathless? Of those? Ooh, that's tough. My first thought is StarCraft 2. It's the best game, has the most capacity for, you know, not dying. Option number 2 would probably be Warcraft 3 for the same basic reason. After that, Warcraft 2 Deathless is insane. StarCraft 1 Deathless is absolutely insane. I know Giant Grant Games actually did do that. He is absolutely off his rocker. Age of Empires is worse than that, if you can believe it, and Age of Mythology is kind of built around the concept of dying. I'm just going to run from these. I don't have the mana to deal with this. Left or up? What are we thinking? I'm pretty sure I'm not going to finish this dungeon before I got to cut off. Up, okay? Would I play Deathless? I've actually been wanting to do some challenge runs. Literally just for funsies in my life. Left or right? Oh God, Walker, why would you say that? Why would you say that? Okay, Zara says right. Control room! Oh, that's a bad encounter. Not only have I not done a Deathless run of FF6, I have not done a hardcore mode of FF6, and I want to do both. I have done many single character challenges in FF6. Pretty much, Zara, but also, I don't know, there's this weird thing where the older I get, the more interested I am in stretching the good games and what you can do in them. I don't really have a better way to phrase that. It's just I've been getting more and more interested in challenge runs the older I get. So hardcore mode is exactly what it sounds like. It means you never reload. If you TPK, your run's over. You start the game over from scratch. Okay, so save. So a single character challenge is by default a no magicite challenge. So what that means is you can only use... There's actually some really specific rules. The idea is no rods, no using magicite, except to change stats, because it's FF6. So no spells, unless they innately learn spells. And the idea is not to just over-level through it, right? To try and keep your level as minimum as possible. I think there's other rules, but it depends on the individual character. So yeah, speaking of... Pause. Let's get the in-game music going. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's do it. So, for example, if you play as Locke, you can only ever really attack or steal. However, there's actually a lot you can do with that. But yes, by far the easiest run to do of a single character challenge for FF6 is Celeste or Terra, basically equally. Both of them are in the party for a huge portion of the game, and both of them have access to some magic and the best equipment of the game. Immediately behind them is Edgar, who also can equip the best equipment of the game and has freaking tools. Right behind him is actually Locke, believe it or not. Now, I know that sounds like a weird one, but the reason Locke works so well is because even though he can only attack and steal, there's a lot of good stuff he can steal with, and Locke has the best innate speed in the game. And let me tell you, speed is crazy in FF6. Yeah, and also Locke can equip the best equipment of the game. He's the last one, too. It's Celeste, Locke, Edgar, and Terra. The four of them have the same equipment setup, and all of them can equip the best stuff. So all of those are relatively easy if you're interested in doing a single character challenge. After that is probably Sabin. That's a little bit trickier because Sabin... Actually, I gotta go fight this guy. No! Oh, God. Sabin's actually trickier than he sounds. Blitzes are neat, but you become so reliant on blitzes that you... any screw-up is extremely punishing. And Sabin just does not have the innate stats to carry him through a lot of sections of the game. And if you don't know what you're doing, you might not have the right setup or equipment to really make that work. Oh yeah, no merit award. That's the other requirement. Kinda, yeah, Roxy. So Sabin's a little rougher than it would sound. Gao is more an exercise in patience than anything else, because once you get Gao set up, he's death. But it's also even less engaging than, like, say, Locke, because you set him up and then you put the controller down. Same basic problem with Mog, actually. That Mithril's mine! This is not who I was expecting. This is the Sergeant. Strago is pretty mean. Realm is insane. Cyan is actually very hard, because even though you'd think he'd be good, he has a lot of flaws in his design. We were talking about that previously. Blade Travel was just mentioning that in chat. He's limited. Let's get a buff. going. Oh, I don't have the mana. Oh, I don't have the mana. Shadow is actually kind of boring. I have done a Shadow one. Because Shadow is all about... No, I have not, Elazar. Shadow is all about money. You pay to win with Shadow. His throw abilities are so damn good. And he can absolutely destroy his way through half the game once you get him. Not even just the skeins and whatnot, right? Like the bombs. No, you get him like some diamond swords or whatever they are that you can buy in, I think, Miranda in the second tutorial, and he will just two-shot bosses. This is going well. And yeah, Shadow also has high speed. I believe it is second behind Locks. Just need a little... I have no mana. I have no mana. Umaro is weird because he's incredibly boring. Like, literally, you never input anything and you just set him up. But you get him with the right equipment setup and he will absolutely destroy the entire game by himself. Umaro is actually a bonkers strong character. I think a lot of people sleep on how powerful Umaro really is. Let's get a cure out. Oh god, he hits hard. That was an 80 damage hit. Ow, that hurt a lot. Yeah, Umaro also has the best armor in the game. The actual best armor in the game. Go-Go is actually pretty terrible. Because you'd think, oh, I could set Go-Go up as whatever, but the problem is that just leaves you with a very limited version of it. Go-Go's the same problem that most Red Mages have in most Final Fantasy games. He is okay at everything. Yeah, he is literally a damn it. He's literally a lesser version of everyone else. So I just lost my main damage dealer. I don't know how much health this guy has. And I don't have any mana to res Furion. Setzer is range. So Setzer early on is actually incredibly limited and extremely random. And there goes my other damage dealer. You gotta be kidding me. You've gotta be. This is your fault. You did this. Why did you do this to me? Why?
It's dinner.
Thank you for telling me. I'll be down in a minute, okay?
Pizza.
Ooh. So I will be down in a minute, though, okay? Let's see if I can survive this fight. I probably can't.
Why?
Because my two damage dealers are dead, and I don't have the ability to get them back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is... Yeah. Yeah, the problem with Setzer is he doesn't really become the death machine that he is until late game. Once you get there, Setzer is actually, this is not a joke, the most damage output you can do per round in FF6. It is impossible to do more damage than him. But you gotta get there. We're hitting him for 0. We're praying for crits. We're praying for crits at this point. Actually, yeah, Ross. And, okay, so that, yeah, so we just died.
That means dinner? We're not trying that again, are we? Do they still have their damage dealers? They still have theirs? So
Yes.
they can do damage, but we can't?
I'm gonna go do dinner.
What? So
Yes, they have their damage dealers still, but we don't. So what's that mean?
you would always lose.
Bingo.